Yeah, give him about 20 minutes.
I don't know.
Murphy's always that late for court.
Is my head going to be in your way?
No, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Yep.
The audience board.
Recording in progress.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the regular council meeting of the Dearborn Heights City Council, July 11th, 2023. It is right now 6:01 p.m. Madam Clerk, can you please take roll call?
Yes, Dave Abdallah,
Here.
Hassan Ahmad,
Here.
Moby Joe,
Here.
Nancy Breyer. Here. Robert Constant. Absent. Ray Muscat.
Here.
And Tom Wenzel.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a forum.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
Next up on our agenda is our Pledge of Allegiance. This is going to be led by our Treasurer, Luisa Hicks Clayton.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Treasurer. All right, before we go to agenda approval, I'm gonna go a little bit off of the agenda for just a couple of minutes because, our state representative, Erin Byrnes, has got another appointment to get to, so instead of having her wait to the end, I'm gonna allow her to go up and give us the great news that she's bringing to Dearborn Heights.
Thank you, Chairman Abdallah. Good evening, council members, Mayor Bazey, and Clerk Sinia. Am I okay?
I think so.
Microphone?
Oh, here it goes. Okay, there we go. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I appreciate your time. I did want to share a few quick updates with folks. As members of council are aware, we wrapped up our budget process in Lansing about a week ago, and we have wonderful news for the city of Dearborn Heights. We received an allocation of $10 million in the state budget for the construction of the fire station. So wonderful news, and really this budget allocation is the result of conversations that we've all been having really for the past 6 months or more. So I want to really extend my appreciation to Chief Rogan, Mayor Bazey, members of the council, all of whom really raised this as a really key critical issue for the city. We know that the current station on Beach Daily was built on material that, you know, by today's standards you wouldn't build upon. And so there have been some structural issues and certainly a critical need in terms of construction of a new fire station. So we're very excited and happy about that. And I'll be in touch with Mayor Bazey and members of the council in the coming months as those state dollars are delivered to you and really come to fruition. So I wanted to share that. And the only other update that I have is that our state senator, Sylvia Santana, will be hosting a budget town hall this Thursday, July 13th. That'll be held right next door in Dearborn at the Henry Ford Centennial Library. And again, that's on Thursday, July 13th at 5:30 p.m. I'll be attending along with some of our other state reps from the area, and that'll be a time and a place for folks to attend, learn a little bit more about the state budget in detail, how it impacts our local communities, and to ask any questions of myself and Senator Santana that folks may have. So I would definitely encourage folks to attend, and those are all the updates I have. I'm happy to answer any questions folks may have.
Dr. Chair, Councilman.
Just want to, reach out again and thank you so much for that. That fire station was much needed. And so within your first, 60, 90 days, you've been able to come out and bring back $10 million to the city. So, round of applause for you.
residents that are not aware, that station needs to be replaced, period. So had we not received these funds, all of us would be paying for this. So thank you very much again, appreciate it.
Thank you, Chairman Abdullah.
Any other questions from the council members?
Other than she's doing a great job.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Thank you. Good night.
Appreciate it. Next up on our agenda is our agenda approval.
Council Chair,
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the agenda of the regular meeting of July 11th, 2023 as submitted.
Second. Motion made by Councilman Baydoun and seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on our agenda is minutes from the regular meeting of June 27th, 2023.
Council Chair,
Councilman Muscat?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the minutes of the regular meeting of, the regular meeting of June 27th, 2023 as submitted.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Muscat and seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on our agenda is public hearings and comment on agenda items only. There's a little statement that I want to read for those members in the audience, and this is per our council rules of order for the city of Dearborn Heights. I was hoping I didn't need to read this, but I'm going to read it. Members of the public attending the city council meetings shall observe the same rules of propriety, decorum, and good conduct applicable to members of the council. Any person making personal, impertinent, and slanderous remarks, or who becomes boisterous while addressing the council or while attending the council meeting, shall be removed from the room if the sergeant at arms is so directed by the council chair. And such person shall then be potentially barred from further audience before the city council. So basically what I'm saying in plain English, let's all respect each other. You can all speak. Everybody will have their right to speak. Nobody will be blocked from speaking. But please, no need to yell, no need to scream, no need to swear, no need to get boisterous and, for lack of better words, uncivilized. If somebody does, then I will ask you to stop. If they don't stop, then I'll have no choice but to take it to the next level. I hope and pray I don't want to do that. It's not something I like to do, as a lot of you guys know. But please, let's just stay respectful. Thank you. With that being the case, public comments and hearings and comments on agenda items only. You will have 2 minutes.
And Council Chair, let the Council Chair run the meeting and listen to the council.
Thank you. Mr. Owen called and asked if he could have, texted me and asked if he could have an extra minute, and he will have an extra minute.
But 1 second, just give me 1 second.
Give me 1 second.
No, 1 second. You put these going to the city council.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Let's make it. Madam Clerk, can you let Mariana know that one's not?
Mr. Cooper, the screen's not on.
The screen's not on too. Put it on, please.
Thank you.
Give us a second.
Can you please pass these two? This is on the record, please. Let's do this.
Well, I mean, at this particular point, the agenda is up there, so we'll go with that for right now, because while they're working on the IT part.
Oh, it's the IT part? Oh, well, we can wait until the IT works.
No, just that. The agenda's right there.
Oh, well, we can't see it from, people can't see it from right there.
It's just the agenda.
I wanted to ask you a question, Dave.
Okay,
What's
hold on, so we start your time.
Can you tell the residents before
Ready?
we start?
All right, go ahead.
Okay, we're gonna start. You want to suspend the rules? I want to ask you one thing before I suspend them. There is a settlement. What's the
Wait,
settlement?
I'm sorry. Start with
There's
your
a
name.
settlement.
Wait, 1 second. Start with your name.
My name is Hassan Ayoun,
And city.
public activist, Dearborn, Michigan.
Okay.
There's an agenda item for a settlement. What is it for?
Which number?
The settlement. There's a settlement on the agenda. What's the settlement for? Can somebody answer my question? What's the settlement for?
Okay, which specific one? There's 20 things on the agenda. Which one specifically?
Well, there's a settlement. It says a settlement. What's the city have to pay a settlement for? What's the settlement for? That's what I want to know. You just put settlement. You did not put the specifics of the settlement.
I don't know what you're reading, I'm trying to understand. Where at?
It says 6A, claims, settlements, whatever, claims. What's the thing?
Claims and ACH wire transfer.
Okay.
636. That's claims, it's not an agenda item. It's not settlement. That's how we pay the bills.
No. Oh, so you're gonna tell me it's not anything on the agenda for Act 78 paying anything for Act 78? That's what I was
Okay,
asking.
let me just stop it for just a second. Yeah. Okay.
There's no agenda on Act 78, right?
The public can speak on agenda
I'm
items.
asking, isn't that agenda item?
No,
Hold on, it just came out right
that's
now.
excluded. Per our council body rules, that's excluded
Why is it
from
excluded?
comments. It's always been like that. I'm not even going to a debate about that. That's what's
It's not
always
under
been.
delegation.
It is a part of our city council rules. If you'd like, I can show it to you, but it is in there. 100%.
Okay, so you're gonna tell me that agenda item, you can't talk to me, we're just gonna throw it out, the public can speak about it?
It's 6-1, okay, you gotta start, you want your time started? I mean, I'm not gonna.
Go ahead,
about it.
go ahead, I'm asking you.
It's a part of our city council rules. This is a city council room. It is at our
But you're not-
discretion.
Dave,
What's on the agenda?
Here's what you're not understanding. It's on the agenda, right? And I can't talk about it, correct?
The exclusion.
How's it excluded? The residents are paying for it.
Again.
How's it excluded?
Us, keep it down, like I told you before, like I warned ahead of
No,
time.
no problem.
All right.
I'm speaking the
Go
truth.
ahead.
You want to keep it out for what? What about the residents? You're just gonna approve it and say, oh, we're just gonna use taxpayers' money because the mayor made a mistake on Act 78?
You want your 3 minutes on this?
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
have
just
it.
asking you.
Okay, Madam Clerk, would you like to answer at all? Or you're not?
Is it regarding Act 78? Is it regarding a mistake the mayor did? Why do we have to pay for it?
Which one's specific? There's 36 claims. Which one are you talking about? Yeah, I know, but which one? You're saying claims 36? 636. Which one is it? Okay, but either way, Mr. Owen,
There's $58,000 right here that we have to pay. This is ridiculous. Why should we pay?
Okay.
The mayor should pay. He made the mistake on the Act 78. I give you the petition because we sat there and filed a petition to recall him. He wants to sit there and put this on the agenda and not talk to the people. Come on. This is not making sense here. This is right here, black and white. There's $58,000 of taxpayers' money where his negligence sat there and we have to pay for it. For what? Why should we pay for it? Why should we pay for it? Why should the residents pay for it? This is not, I'm not understanding it. Over here, I give you a thing for circuit court, so corporation counsel will say, oh, it's under litigation. Litigation is done. This is the litigation right here. Circuit court. What date? Let me tell you. 4/05/2023. Case dismissed, approved, signature. Why is it on the agenda today? That's what I want to know. Why are we going to pay for his negligence? For what reason? I just want to know. This doesn't make sense here. I am asking you guys today to deny this because it's not the city and it's not the residents that made that mistake. It was the mayor that made this mistake on this, and I'm not going to tolerate you guys trying to put it where the people don't understand what's going on. I'm asking, why? Because when Zahir Abdel Haq sat there and filed a petition, he came running to sit there and settle this case. This litigation is going to be done down the street because he fired the police officer. He should have asked his corporation counsel, and he didn't ask nobody. He just suspended it because he thought he could suspend it. This act was approved by the residents in 1965. So why are we going to sit there and do this? I'm not understanding. I'm just asking city council today, for these residents that are on Zoom, people watching, for you to sit there and deny it and make the mayor pay for his mistake. It's not the residents' mistake. It was his failure that did this. And I know people are here today looking at me like, oh, he's talking about the mayor. It's not about the mayor. It's about negligence. This is negligence, it's called. His error made this. He's supposed to pay for it out of his personal pocket. Because if a judge makes a mistake, he pays for it. Why should the city pay for negligence? Now this, it was a mistake. Wasn't a mistake. He should have did his research before he suspended Act 78, before I came here today thinking that you guys are gonna sit there and rub it underneath the rug. You can't do that. You gotta tell the residents what's going on here. I'm not understanding. I'm really, really sick and tired of putting stuff underneath the rug without telling the residents. That's 2 minutes or 3?
3.
All right, I'm done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
City street name, please.
Rachel LaPointe, Merrick Street, Dearborn Heights. I had a question about a few things on the agenda. Under the claims, item 630, which was one of the legal bills, why are we receiving a bill from November when it's currently July, and then the other ones were, I believe, April and May from the same law firm? So why was that bill so delayed?
Okay, so just again, I want to remind everyone, during the agenda, you could speak on agenda items, not on claims,
Why not?
because that's a part of the city council rules. That was voted on by city council time ago.
So just to clarify, residents are not allowed to ask questions about bills that are
You're
being
welcome
proposed
to
to be
ask what you
paid?
want, but I'm just telling you, no, they can't answer you. You know what they can do, council members, they can discuss it during that time if that's what
Yeah,
they feel based on
okay.
what you say.
Well,
But I'm
that's a
telling you, there's
question
not
that
gonna
I
be
would be
discussion about it.
asking if I were you.
I'm sorry?
If I were you guys, I would be asking that question of why we are getting a bill so delayed.
Okay.
I would also like to know if those count against the 22-23 fiscal year or the 23-24 fiscal year. When claims are like kind of post-dated like that in general, how does that fall under the budget? Like, do we put it in the budget when the bill was sent or when we pay the bill? Then with the MMRMA insurance, I wasn't sure how the property values are determined for that. So for the buildings and everything, how does that process work? And how does depreciation factor into that, or versus property values going up? It felt very confusing. I had seen the one from the year before, and there was like a 20% increase in all the property value as well as the contents value. So I wasn't sure if that was like the replacement value, if we purchased it to completely replace it, or if it's a depreciated value. So I just had a question about that. And then with the IT department, with the budget amendment, I really don't have a problem with the proposed projects at all. I think they're great, by far needed, probably should have been done 20 years ago. But why weren't these projects
The time.
given, ready to restart the time?
I'm sorry, that's my
I'm
fault.
almost done. But why weren't those projects accounted for during the budget session in April? And because it's $500,000 that's being asked for, and it also doesn't say where those funds are being derived from. Considering how tight the budget was, where is that money coming from? Is that ARPA money? Where is that coming from? And then with the fiber proposal, it's $5,205 a month. I'm not sure if that's a good price or a bad price because the rest of the quotes weren't included in the packet. In the letter, it said that he got several quotes, but he just gave you guys the one that he was proposing for you to pay. So what were they, and then how much do we pay now? Is this savings? Is it 10 times as much? Is it an hour more? What's the difference between what we're doing now and then what the proposal is? And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At a later time, there'll be, obviously on the agenda, the MMRA discussion. So at that particular point, our main representative through the city is the chief of staff, and she's unfortunately taking video right now, but she's welcome to come out and answer you if she'd like. And in regards to the other questions, David Cooper, our IT director, will be up also at that point, maybe answer some of the questions. Come on up, sir. City, street name?
Mark was Harriet Street, Dearborn Heights. I just had a quick question because the number was thrown out. I didn't bring my glasses with me, so does the agenda actually have $58,000 on there anywhere?
I did not find 58,000 anywhere.
Okay, so, which leads me to my next question. How did he get that number? Because if this is supposed to be held in closed session, that means somebody gave him the information. And the only people that have that information is sitting up here, the mayor and corporate counsel. So you guys need to have a talk with each other. You asked me before, why isn't everything always shared with you guys? And I told you this was the reason. You know, there's people on here that like to pass out information to bring people in here to attack the mayor. And that's why, you know, some things are only shared with corporate, outside council chair pro tem. It's up to them to decide if they share with you. $58,000 is not on there, but this guy has that information. Where did it come from? That's private information. He didn't put it on there. So you guys need to check yourselves. Second thing, if $58,000 is what it costs to get us to where we're at now, then we got off dirt cheap because the city's so much better off where we're at now than where we were a year ago, 2 years ago.
If you don't mind, please, from the audience.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, the amount of corruption that was taken out of the city is unbelievable. All right? And the amount of people that thought they had an in with one of you, anyone up here, and found out that, in fact, that you guys are actually trying to do the right thing. And now they're out there crying and bringing in their, whatever you want to call them. You can use terms like cronies, attack dogs, whatever you want. Okay, all I'm saying, whatever you want to call them. I think you guys have done a great job as far as that goes, but you have one issue, and that's information getting out to people that want to come up here and attack. Again, I would have been okay with $10 million being missing in order to get us to where we're at. Thank you.
Okay. Just a little answer to that, and that's why when the gentleman mentioned the 58,000, I didn't know where it was coming from, but let's not go there. Anything in the city council chambers closed meeting that is eventually shared outside the closed meeting, I'm just reiterating what all city council members know. They could be prosecuted for leaking that stuff out, obviously. So, any council members, they all know that already. Nothing is supposed to be leaked out. And if it is, obviously our department will investigate that. Okay.
Council Chair, actually, the claims
Closed
are,
session.
they're public in the knowledge.
No, not the claims.
Yeah,
I'm talking about anything from a closed
the
session.
information that he has is public knowledge, it's not confidential.
Hello.
What's your name, please?
Yeah, Stephanie Butler, non-Dearborn Heights resident. Just have a question. When the city insures properties, do they insure, obviously, you know, I know real estate, but do they insure every property that they own that's leased out? And obviously, the business owner would also insure separately. But is that how it should be? Just so the city's protecting its values, I guess?
I can't speak in regards to every contract because English State's not in front of us here, but in general, yes.
General, yes.
I believe, is that correct? Yes.
Okay, and then, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Here comes a lawsuit.
Anybody else, public comments in the audience? On agenda items. You will have an opportunity, if you have something outside the agenda at the end of the council meeting to be able to speak.
Hi, Sue Kaminsky, Amboy. Regarding the insurance, the liability insurance for the golf course, have they?
Okay, guys, gals, please, okay, I'm sorry, one moment. Sue, one moment, please. For those in the audience, I wasn't born yesterday. I don't need coughing, I don't need any of the sounds or anything like that. If this continues, I'll have no choice but to have people moved out of this room. We gotta do this in a respectful manner, please. Whoever disagrees with anybody up on the podium, they also will have their day or their opportunity to go up there and speak. As long as they stay respectful, they will have their opportunity to speak. But whoever's up there speaking, whether you agree or disagree, they still have a right to speak. So for those in the audience, I'd like to remind everybody, we are in the United States of America. There's freedom of speech. Everybody has a right to their opinion. Not everybody that goes up here I agree with. Not everybody that goes up there all of us agree with. Or the mayor, or the corporation council, or the clerk, or anybody. But they have a right to speak. So please, respectfully allow people to speak. Thank you. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry, let me just make sure of time. Go ahead.
I stopped.
Okay, go ahead.
Thanks, Dave. I just wondered if there is a list of the items inside the golf course, you know, the carts, the nets and everything, and is that part of the insurance policy? Because I did not see that in the backup. Just a simple question. I want to make sure that we don't have a problem with having vandalism that apparently we've had in the past and then have items not insured. And it's not in the backup. Anybody?
I don't have the answer to that right now. Corporation Counsel, do you have the answer to that by chance?
No, but we'll look at check. I think everything is insured, it's listed, and they do have lists. I don't know if they published it this time or not.
Well, I just
But we
am
can check for you and then get back.
It'll be part of the original contract.
Well, I'm just concerned about talking about the insurance if that's not for sure, if we don't know for sure. With all due respect, counsel, if you're not 100%, I hesitate going forward with something.
Well, I think that how everything I've seen has always been insured and listed. Now, if it's on this published to you, I don't know, I can't tell
Microphone.
what
Your
you've
mic, Council Chair.
But we will double check.
Counselor, your microphone.
We will double check and see. I mean, if that's what you're asking. I don't have an answer right now. I didn't anticipate your question, but I will check for you and get back to you if that's the case. Everything in the past that's been listed in that golf course, from the electric golf carts that you put in to the stadium, I've walked the golf course. I've seen all the items listed. I've seen the golf pro shop, the restaurants being built. All the items are listed on the insurance that we have and have been asked for. But I will double check for you because I didn't go into the
Okay.
So if you don't mind, Sue, give George your name and number, and then somebody from administration will call her back. Okay, anybody else in the audience that would like to speak on agenda items?
Are you done?
Are you all set?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Hassan Bazi Shihan. I have a question about the item on the agenda, A.B. That we're buying the foreclosure homes. How many homes that we have in the city that in the possession of the city right now? On the top of what we're buying?
So how many do we still have left?
How many have, yeah, how many
That have not been sold?
Yes.
I don't have to answer that question. Administration may, but we'll let you finish, then I'll make sure they answer.
Jamal should know.
Yeah. Well, we'll have you,
Maybe in the 20s or 20.
I mean, I can find out. I don't know what we have carried.
So what we do with these homes that we buy, foreclosure, what's going on with these properties that we have?
These
Plus
properties-
the other vacant lands.
So we take these from the county, and we have a first right of refusal, it's called first right of refusal. The state obviously traditionally always turns down all properties, and then we have we are next up as a city as far as first right of refusal. If we don't take them, then it goes to the county.
So when we take them, what do we do with them?
We hold on to them until obviously we pick whoever it is that's gonna be able to take them, fix them up, and.
How long, like, do you usually, we hold on?
I'm not aware of any
Okay.
personally right now. I
That's
didn't
fine.
expect your question to know that we have any right now in the books. I can ask the mayor when you're done, if you don't mind.
Do you have an idea how much it costs the city money to maintain them, to cut the grass for the vacant land, not considering the?
Needless to say, obviously, myself and I'm sure my fellow council members aren't in favor of keeping them, obviously. That's not what we do. So I'm not aware of any that we keep.
So when we ask the question, do you guys keep up? I mean, do you follow up with these questions?
So-
or just, okay, so if so, we have Mr. Ray.
And I can follow up for you.
Okay,
Mr.
so,
Razzie.
the
And-
one-
because I know in the past, we've gotten those homes, and then we started a CAP program to have people come in and bid on them homes, and there's restrictions put on those people who buy, that they have to sell them, they can't rent them.
Right.
They have to bring them up to, and have C of Os, bring them up to code, and hopefully more than code, okay?
Fair enough.
And put families up, but and there's a time period that they have to complete it by.
Okay, before we get to this point, how long the city will hold up on these homes or properties before they put them out to bid?
That'll be something that I have to check on. I don't know that answer, and I don't know if anybody here knows that
Anybody in
answer.
the administration can answer that?
Because maybe what we could find out is what we've done in the past, how long we kept them, and I'll have to look that up.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, are you aware of any properties that we are hanging on to?
We have several homes, I don't know the exact number.
No, I'm not talking about the ones here on the agenda
No, I
today.
understand, but remember, we put those, we actually put in front of the council on the agendas about a year ago, and you guys did not vote for the people that actually wanted to purchase, or the investors that wanted to purchase the property. So right now, Mr. Farina, myself, and we're actually working on a process to actually get rid of whatever property that we have. We have a lot of lots that, buildable lots that we're actually working on, trying to figure out what's the best process to actually be best for the city. And then we'll go in front of council for you guys to approve.
But are there any homes though? Because I wasn't aware of
There's a few, but I don't have the number with me, but there's
It's
several.
about 24 homes plus the 11 that we're
Well,
buying.
we keep
So
the,
we're
we
talking
keep the
about
property
35.
we need. I believe, we will use it for, city use, like utility uses, areas of flood areas. I know we've gone through the properties, abandoned properties we've had, we've checked in with FEMA. And we're getting, hopefully ready to put them out for, RFP on someone purchasing these empty lots. We are looking at, I know we sold 3 houses and went to see with the council approval back in the end of March, early April. The goal is to take these properties, like you said, not hold on to them, not keep maintenance. Some of them are 3-4 years old. So and then the others we may need to demolish. So we're working on a plan, and it will be presented to City Council for the approval.
So there is a track how much during the time that we have on these properties, how much it costs the city money here.
Yeah, any price for the houses that are purchased include the maintenance, repair, and everything else. That's included in the price when we purchase those houses.
Okay. I'm going to be sending everybody here an email about these questions that I asked today. And I have something else. I'm going to share it with you before I bring it out to public to the next meeting. Please.
Thank you.
So,
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Council Chair, I just want to make a correction. We denied those homes 3 times and we approved them back in September.
I don't remember us hanging on to them.
No, yeah, you.
I don't remember us like we
voted on
them.
them. We did. We voted on them. So we also have somebody else on Zoom.
Okay, well, we'll go to Zoom next. Anybody else in the audience that has a public comment on agenda items? Come on up, sir. City, street name, please.
Good evening, Zuhair Abdulhaq, 354 Rosemary, Dearborn Heights. There are around 24 properties, empty lots, and homes. Some of them look like, I'm not going to say the word, they are not maintained, they are not taken care of, and they cost the city in maintenance. I hope that the city council will speed up the process, because the faster you put them on the market in open bid, the faster we get them on the tax roll and we make money from them instead we spend money. Thank you.
I will follow up on that. Thank you. Anybody else in the audience? See none. Next up, we'll go to Zoom. We have on Zoom number 13139. Go ahead. You have 2 minutes. City, street name, please. Can't hear you. I'll try one more time. Please unmute. All right, we'll go to Bill Dishroon next. Hello?
She's having trouble with her speaker.
I can kind of hear it.
Yeah, so I can't.
We're
She's
getting
having
something in the
trouble.
background, but we're not able to hear you. 13139. All right, next up is Bill Dishroon, our director. We'll go ahead and let him go on next. Bill, I see you. Go ahead, Bill.
Can you hear me, Council Chair?
Yes, we can.
Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to talk about a couple of, or in particular, the council agenda items for Mr. Cooper. He's got 3 or 4 items on there. He's worked really hard. He is making a lot of positive changes in the IT realm, things that should have been done a long time ago. He's working on, and I think that these budget items are paramount in getting passed, so we can move forward as a city. I don't want to get too far into that, but I just wanted to say I think he's doing a really good job, and I think these items are important, and I hope the council agrees and passes them. And I just wanted to touch base really quickly on the houses that are up for purchase. There's one in particular that has troubled us for some time now. There are some houses that we bought in the past. There's one in the south end in particular that has undergone tremendous renovations since you guys approved the purchase. And I don't want to use the word flip, but there's a company that's transforming one of the houses in particular in the south end. And I think that's what we need more of, especially one of the ones that's on the list right now for purchase. So I would encourage your honorable body to do the right thing and purchase, allow the purchase of those homes. So that's all I have for now, Council Chair. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.
Okay, thank you, Director. 13139, whatever that was, is gone. So next up is Sam 12, please. City, street name, you have 2 minutes.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Sam, hi, Darling Drive, Dearborn Heights, Michigan. Reference to item 8B, and as if some resident went up there and they spoke about it. Around last year, I gave a proposal to all the council members that were willing to take all the properties away from the city, save the city money, and bring them up to code within a maximum time of 4 months for each property. And if you guys remember correctly, the same exact people, for some reason they got pissed off for whatever reason, and then you guys have to throw it back off direction, and everybody talks the right words. And stop sticking words that people mounted, because honestly, we're sick and tired of the crap that's been going on, and I don't know why people, they love the intention of the drum. Thank you, Council Chair.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else on Zoom or in the audience? Comments on agenda items only? Hearing none. Next item on the agenda, we go to this one for a second here. Fund transfers and current
Council Chair,
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the current claims and ACH wire transfers 6-1 through 6-36 as submitted.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Baydoun, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Any discussion on that?
Council Chair,
Councilman, go ahead.
there were several issues brought up on that, and I'm not clear on the particular one, what was it, 636, was it, or? 630?
Golden Creek, yeah, it's 6:30.
Yeah, I mean, that does concern me a little bit, I mean, and the fact that what part of our budget, what was it, the 22, 23, or 23, 24 budget that money's coming from? It was the business was done in 2022. Where's that money coming from? And I have a couple questions about that one, and also the one Mr. Cash brought up. I'm not clear where he got the 58,000 and what that's for. I was trying to look it up here real quick, and I didn't have a chance of it, what he handed out to us. I didn't have a chance to go over it, really. But those are a couple concerns I have, and because of those concerns, I'm not going to approve this.
Okay. So, our controller, can you come on up, please? Our controller, Cindy King. He's referencing 6:30. Do you want the backup?
I don't think 6:30.
Yeah, 6:30 regarding overtime. Got it?
The question that you're asking regarding if it's going to hit this year's budget or last year's budget is going to hit last year's budget as long as it is dated through June 30th. So if the invoice is from for 2023 through June 30th, it will hit last year's budget. I think that was your question.
Last year's budget?
Yes, we kept enough in there to cover the invoices that we needed that would be paid by the end of the year.
And what account is it being taken out of?
Is there an account number on there?
General ledger, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm not familiar with the account numbers.
Tell
off
us
the top of
why
my
it
head.
took so long to be invoiced? Almost, going on, 9 months.
That I cannot answer.
That's not good. I mean, we get bills like this every 9 months behind schedule. That's not good. It's not good for our budget, knowing how much we've got.
But just, Councilman, just to be fair, getting late bills is not that uncommon on certain claims on a pretty consistent basis, unfortunately.
Yes.
So a part of it is the vendor, because I can't see, I mean, unless there was some sort of controversy, I can't see the city for whatever reason just sitting on it for 6 months. I mean,
No,
there's
we
no
mayor
change.
What is the reason why?
Well, I could call the vendor and ask them. I mean, there may be a reason why it just got lost in the shuffle, or it wasn't finished yet, or someone didn't sign off on it. There could be all kinds of reasons.
You know what they did, what they provided?
I do not. I'm not looking at the invoice itself.
Well,
Is that
what's
true?
provided is what's in the backup, so that's
Okay.
there.
So you have a copy of the invoice. You see what it's been. Mhm.
Household disposal? I don't even know what that means.
Who's the vendor?
Local tree.
Okay, Councilman, just give me a quick second. Councilman, Constant wants to
Well,
say something.
it's, as long as I've been on the council, often law firms, they get behind in the billing, in their monthly billing, and so it's submitted late. That was always a problem, and the detailed billing, which we have and we're looking at, I don't think there's anything devious about it. You know, the billing, for whatever reason, got in late, so when we're doing it and paying it, that's not a question about the bill itself, that's a comment about, you know, as the comptroller said, maybe the vendor, Liability, which is a law firm, got us the billing late.
Correct.
Okay. Tom Wenzel, we all set?
No, as Rachel pointed, what was it, 6 what? Remember?
It was 6-30.
6:30.
The backup says it was sent to the mayor in December.
Says December 21st.
Who's that vendor? It's open tree.
Okay. Any other questions, Councilman?
Mr. Wenzel, you're in deep thought there?
Yeah, I'm thinking about Mr. Cash's claims. I mean, I don't know, I was trying, like I said, he passed this out, which was, you know, this is part of our packet, but he had a copy of it, and he highlighted some issues in there. And I haven't had time to go through them, and I'd like some more time to see exactly what he was trying to say there. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay, any other questions from council members? Seeing none, all in favor? This was a motion made by Councilman Muscat.
Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry. Councilman Baidoon, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please take roll call.
Yes, Robert Constant,
Yes.
Ray Muscat,
Yes.
Tom Wenzel,
No.
Nancy Breyer,
Yes.
Hassan Ahmad,
Yes.
Bobby Doon,
Yes.
and Dave Abdallah.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Next item on the agenda is item 8A, Crestwood High School Homecoming Parade.
Council Chair?
Councilman?
I might want to refer this back to Mr. Councilman Baidoon, since he's the latest graduate of Crestwood High School. I'm way long past due here.
Nice, nice. Age before beauty. I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council grant permission to Crestwood High School to hold their annual homecoming parade on Friday, September 29th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. with staging to begin at 5 p.m. as outlined in 8A.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Baidoon and seconded by Councilman Muscat. Any discussion on that?
Thank you, Councilman.
You're welcome, sir.
Council Chair.
Councilman, go ahead.
I believe there's a lot of Crestwood chargers in here in the room, so congratulations to the graduates, hello to all the Crestwood people in the room. They're probably Fortson guys, but we saw them.
They're tractors.
You guys are all tractors, but shout out to the Crestwood guys and good luck to the class of 2024. Okay, thank you.
All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 8B, purchase and payment of properties from the Wayne County Tax Foreclosure.
Council Chair.
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the purchase and payment of the 2023 right of refusal parcels from Wayne County Tax Foreclosure List in an amount of $158,501.96.
In addition, authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign a necessary warrant and the treasurer to issue payment from the GL account number 101-200-949-000. Furthermore, authorize the mayor and clerk to sign any paperwork associated with the purchase of the properties as outlined in 8B.
Support. Okay, motion made by Councilman Muscat, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any discussion on
Council
that?
Chair.
Councilman?
Thank you so much, Council Chair. Now, we're purchasing this from Wayne County, correct?
Right. We have the first right of refusal when people have not paid, their, they have hardships, obviously, they've not paid their taxes. The foreclosed property, the one entity that gets first crack at it is the state of Michigan, then us, and then it goes to the county if we don't pick them up. So if we don't purchase these, then it goes automatically to the county.
Correct.
And at that point, it'll go in their land bank more than
Now,
likely.
Council Chair, I know we've asked you and I in the past that this deed, and I'm gonna refer this back to our corporation council, that we don't just see BidNet on these. I'd like these to go public on social media. I wanna see Facebook, I wanna see Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is. We wanna be accessible to all of our residents and say to them, we have homes that are for sale, we are expecting you to go out and bid on them. I mean, I can tell you right now in Dearborn, I think the statistic was like 800 realtors just in the city of Dearborn and Dearborn Heights. That's a lot, or maybe it was the state of Michigan. I don't know. I'm not on the board of realtors, but I can tell you this. Some of the deals that we gave away back in August, September was a great deal, and the people that purchased them got an amazing deal. These are great deals for a lot of investors who live and reside in the city of Dearborn Heights. So I don't want to see this just go on BidNet. I want it to be published that, hey, it's going on BidNet. This is going to be published on social media that these things are coming up. And let this be an open process to everybody. Because I don't feel like BidNet is the only place we need to be reviewing our purchasing for these properties, especially if they were once residents in the city of Dearborn Heights. Who knows, somebody might buy their home back.
Council Chair. And also on social media, it gives a lot more exposure to a lot of our local residents. That's who we prefer to sell these to instead of somebody from the outside. I do want to ask our administration if you could do us a favor, because one of the things that at least what we all heard today, is that there's some properties that have not been picked up. I would like, if you don't mind, if we could have somebody from the administration send over to all of us as council members a list of what we are still hanging on to. Honestly, I didn't know we had that many that we were hanging on to, so a list of them, so that ideally I can put that on the next agenda, provided that Corporation Council is ready for this, and let's get these properties sold. I, as a councilman, don't want to hang on to any of these properties in the city, as I'm sure the mayor doesn't either. So if you don't mind sending us a list of what's still available.
Council Chair. I agree, I'm in total 100% with Councilman Baydoun. We've got to do something different than what we've been doing for a number of years of just BidNet. That limits us to people who are on BidNet all the time, and that's all they do. They probably have a dedicated person just looking at BidNet so they can bid on everything. But we make this public and open to everybody. We may be really pleasantly surprised. And you know, we need to get forward and do something like that.
Well, I also feel that your average person or your average contractor, or a lot of people are not familiar with the process of BidNet and how to bid on it and what's involved, and not to mention it's a little cumbersome. I've gone on there. It's pretty complicated. So what tends to happen, this was the first things I discovered when I first got on the council. As a realtor, I know some, at least general pricing on some items, and I was surprised as to the number of vendors that we had to pick from, because it would consistently be quite a bit higher. One that comes to mind was at the park there on Ann Arbor Trail. I'm blanking on the name of the
Parkland.
Parkland, thank you. And on that one, we had this little picnic area, and the bid was like something like $12,000 or $15,000, whatever it was. It was something crazy.
$125,000,
No.
$250,000 for a bathroom.
No, that was a bathroom. I was gonna say one for the room. And the first thing that made, I just couldn't digest it, like why would it be so high? So I said, could I get somebody? So I called, not to try to give them a shout out, but they're a great roofing company. I called Tom Woligarski. I said, what would it cost you to do this? And I don't remember the exact number, something like $5,000 or $6,000. So here's a local roofer that we could have used and saved a lot of money. But unfortunately, as a lot of cities, we only use BidNet, and then your average, you know, mom and pop operator in the city doesn't get access to this, then what happens? We as residents end up paying a lot more. So I'm in total agreement that this stuff should be blasted on social media.
Councilman Wenzel also mentioned at that time of going to some of these local union shops and have the apprentices do it, and would give us a cut rate price, plus they would get the experience of doing it. And they would be under the supervision of journeyman.
Councilman, I'm so sorry, just one last statement, just keep in mind, some of these properties in the city of Dearborn Heights, I mean, I'm not a realtor, I'm sitting between two of them, and I can tell you that city home value is 40, 50, 60%, you know, it's up 60%. You're selling some of these properties, I think we looked at it, was $16,000 per property. I mean, we could have easily went out for a higher bidding, sold it for $100,000. I mean, that's just at least my opinion.
And also, I'm going to reference other cities. There will be, at least not on my watch, there will be no favors as far as who gets these houses.
yes.
No favors.
Councilman? Thank you, Councilor Chair. I do agree with my colleagues. Yeah, we have to do more, but I need to remind everybody that we're having a new website, a new platform. I think Mr. Cooper can maybe tell us more about it, but residents can sign up with the website and they can get notifications, correct? Anything that's happening with the city. So if we have new properties for sale, everybody's gonna know it. Furthermore, I think Council Chair, those properties can be redeemed too before even the purchase happens. So there's an option that might not
I
even buy
believe they're
them.
path to redemption.
Is it the path to redemption?
They're path to redemption.
Is it?
Yes, they are.
Thank
So what the councilman's referencing, just for those in the audience that are not familiar with it, when you lose your property to foreclosure, it goes to a sheriff's sale, then you've lost it to foreclosure, but you have 6 months to be able to redeem it back. In other words, pay off the total amount of the mortgage and get that property back. Typically, unfortunately, if somebody had a difficult time paying 2-3 payments, they'll typically have a difficult time coming up with the total mortgage amount, but it is an option available to them. Thank you. Okay, any other discussion on this?
Council Chair?
Councilman?
Yeah, it was suggested or referred to that these are a good opportunity for investments companies to come in here and fix these properties up. And that's where I have a little bit of an issue. And that's our problem in Dearborn Heights. We have too many people buying these houses for investments and renting them out. I have a grandchild that looking for a house.
Let him finish.
I have a grandchild that's looking for a house in Dearborn Heights, and constantly for the last 6 months, you know, dozens and dozens of homes they bid on have been outbid by companies that are buying houses. Now, I guess the only way to get these houses fixed up is if we give them to the investors or sell them to investors. But we should make the stipulation that these investors, once they fix the house up, they sell them to a person that's gonna live in that house.
Mhm.
Not selling them to another investor that's gonna rent them out.
It is in the contract.
It's always been in the contract.
That they live there?
Yeah, it's always been in that contract.
And also, they cannot sell it on land contract, and I don't have all the clauses in my head, but they are.
It's right in that.
They are.
That way.
It's always been that way.
It is. Okay, any other council members with comments?
Council Chair, I think it was, if the investor purchased it, he has to sell it to somebody that's gonna be a homeowner or living in the home.
Correct.
Can be an investor.
The way it's always been that way.
Check that.
I don't have the exact system right now. This was in part of the contract that we voted on many months ago, but a lot of those clauses are in there. But at the same time, I do want to point out, Councilman, that when this comes up again, as far as who the bidders are going to be, if you don't mind, when this comes up as far as which bidders that are going to be selected, keep in mind, the selection process goes through the city council. So the city council will typically have a presentation by the different people that are bidding on these, and the city council will select the particular bidder that property is going to go to. With that being the case, during that time period, let's say a month, 2, 3 from now, we will have the opportunity to put in conditions. So that condition typically is in there, but obviously you feel strongly about it, you can make sure that it is in there at that particular point.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other comments on this, Councilman?
Well, the Wayne County Treasurer conducts the sale, and all those rules you can get from the Treasurer's office on the foreclosure. There was a controversy years ago because the current treasurer, his wife and his son, I think, had a company, a part ownership, a company that was buying up some of these foreclosed properties.
Right.
This is a way to keep the properties from staying vacant for 10 years and nobody owns them. They don't, a lot in Detroit go to the land bank.
I got you. Okay, thank you. All right, let's go ahead and take this to a vote. Motion made by Councilman Muscat, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 9A, Chief of Staff Hernandez, renewal of the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority, MMRMA.
Council Chair.
Council.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve and accept the renewal of the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority Property and Liability Coverage e-proposal for the period of July 1st, 2023 to July 1st, 2024. In addition, authorize Chief of Staff Hernandez to electronically sign as may be appropriate on behalf of the city. Additional, the city approves the payment of $1,521,843 to the MMRMA for the city's annual contribution stemming from the city's approval and acceptance of acceptance of this proposal. Moreover, provide the mayor also authorize any such payments as necessary expense. The city council authorizes warrants to be issued for the payment of amounts toward the city's annual contribution in a total amount of these payments not to exceed $1,521,843. By doing so, the city council is authorizing any such warrants and payment without prior authorization by city council to the specific warrant and payment as permitted by the consent with city charter, section 8.9. Furthermore, with respect to the net asset distribution option, the city chooses to deposit in its bank account $500,000 and $557,894 will be rolled into the MMRMA retention fund. These transfers will be in the form of an electronic fund transfer. The city council authorizes Chief of Staff Hernandez to complete the net asset distribution option form accordingly, and authorize the Chief of Staff Hernandez to sign this form electronically on behalf of the city as the city's member representative as outlined in 9A.
Support. Okay, motion made by Councilman Muscat and seconded, please always use the word seconded by Councilman Constant. We will now take a 20-minute break for Councilman Muscat to just catch his breath.
I got some air, right?
And learn how to read a little bit. Back to school.
All right. Cut your breath. You good?
Yeah, oh, sure. Too.
All right. So motion made by Councilman Muscat, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion on that?
Council Chair?
Councilman?
In the estimate or the statement about the value of our properties, who did the evaluation of the properties and came up with the prices?
Okay, so our city representative on this is our Chief of Staff, Mariana. Well, she's vicious. Oh, that's good. Okay.
Good afternoon, Mariana Hernandez, Chief of Staff. These calculations are done by our MMRMA appraisers. They do it every so often. They come and look at our properties, and they're the ones who set those values.
Okay, have we ever looked at any other companies that do this? I mean, did this go out, like, somebody goes out for bids for insurance, AAA or Allstate or State Farm?
Not that I'm aware of. We've been members since 1991. We're actually one of the first 50 cities that joined MMRMA.
And they're the one, they're doing the evaluations of the value of the properties, like City Hall's valued at like $10 million. And then Urban Center's valued at $10 million. I mean,
Yes, there's the full list is detailed in the backup for the item.
Council Chair?
Okay, just a quick second, because I know you're having a video right now. WDHT is not on, just a file.
I am aware of that. I called Angela. Apparently it's an issue with the cable. It's not working.
Okay.
why is not the Elite Sports Center not listed?
It's part of the Campfield Center. It always has been. It is one property under the city's name, so the entire property, Campfield.
Under what? What's it under?
Campfield.
It's under Campfield?
Yes, I have requested that they separate those as requested by the council in the past, just to clarify for future reference.
Can you give us an update once that's,
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure to clarify. So you're saying, Mariana, that it's all under the Campfield Centers and the whole total property, including the rec center that we have, Elite Sports,
And of course, the baseball fields, it's the bathrooms, et cetera.
And the park, correct.
Okay.
I'm looking at it, where is the Campfield Center on here?
Page 2.
So it starts on page 1, you will see all of the properties there, so I don't know which one it is, there's a lot of them.
So I'm looking at Campfield Center, there's nothing there, it says Campfield Center.
You would have to look for it by the address.
Okay.
Council, I mean, I don't know, I don't see it on here. Campfield Center. Does anybody see Campfield?
I do. Number 7, 1801 Beach Daily Road, Canfield.
What's that estimated at?
Same thing.
2.5.
Line item number 7.
It's also under 2100 Kinlock, which is a comfort station. What's on there?
And again, they will separate it as soon as they do. I requested that over a month ago when it came up.
So that's all the buildings, Campfield Community Center is the ice arena or the elite sports, Campfield Recreation Center, the restrooms, that's all those combined?
Not all of them combined. Again, it was weird. This was done way before we came on board, and they did it themselves, and it's the way that it happened. It had never been brought to my attention until a month ago, and now I've requested it for it to be separated. So we're doing that.
So before we approve this, maybe then we can refer, you can bring it back next week.
It really doesn't matter. The value is still going to be the same, and the insurance is still going to be the same. We're already 11 days, behind on the insurance. So again, all of our buildings are insured and covered. If anything happens to Elite Sports, as I've mentioned before, it is covered already. So it is not a big issue. It's just the way it's
always been covered?
Yes.
Is this year, starting this year?
No, it's been covered since we purchased it.
For the does the building and Elite Sports has this insurance on the contents?
Said my wife brought it up last time. She said it right now.
Wait,
She said it
nothing from the audience, sir. Mr. Alden, please, nothing from
Wasn't
the
out there
audience.
before this.
It's always been covered. It's still covered.
Okay, Ross, don't make me have you leave, please. Thank you. Councilman, go ahead.
Well, you know, it looks like the total value of everything there is, you know, almost
2.57.
2.57. City
Again,
Hall here is 10 million, and all that is only 2.5 million, all
I'm
those?
not the one who says what the appraisal values are. If you want to call MMRMA and ask them, you can do that. They are going to come out again when I ask them to come evaluate it again and add that additional new building.
It seems like it's undervalued.
I think all of the buildings are undervalued. Again, I don't know how often the appraisers come out. That is a question I asked when the renewal was presented.
Okay, Councilman, are you all set?
No, but I guess I am. I don't understand.
Okay, so just quick statement that Councilman Muscat had. I would have that re-looked into, because I can tell you based on values, something's off here.
They're looking at it. Again, also keep in mind as our property values increase, so will our insurance value. So it will be more
Right,
costly.
but you want enough coverage, so.
We are pretty well covered.
Okay,
So if you
Councilman
just look
Muscat
at what
next.
our total amount for coverage is, there's also a breakdown for each one of those. So if you have an issue with that coverage, that's something that we can look at as well.
Councilman
But for
Muscat?
buildings and personal property, we are covered by $160 million, 515, 632. So again, if that's a number that you have an issue with, we can discuss that, but I don't believe any one of our buildings is valued at a higher level than that.
Council Chair, Councilman Muscat.
You know, MMRA was set up years and years ago by a group of communities to self-insure themselves. In previous years, not every year, but there have been years that we actually get a refund check back from MMRA depending on how much we have used the insurance. It's no different than insuring your house for $800 a year, and if your house burns down and you have a total loss, they're going to pay out $170, $180, $200,000, $400,000 to fix the home.
I'm gonna let you finish, go ahead.
I'm just saying, I'm just using it as a reference. You value your home, they value your home at a certain amount. but they don't charge you $35,000 or $350,000 a year on your insurance because your house is worth $350,000. But MMRA is something that communities throughout the state use to keep their insurance rates very, very low. Okay, what we pay, and then at the end of the year, if there's money that we have not used in whatever capacity, they return that money. So let's be aware of how this thing works. This is not your AAA or your State Farm. This is completely different.
Okay, so would it be, I'm speaking for myself, would it be totally problematic to table this? Because I'd like to have a little bit more information.
It's not going to be done in a fast way. Again, it's not like MMRMA has appraisers that can come out next week. I requested this last week. I would recommend that you renew it so that we are covered this fiscal year.
Can it be canceled at any time with proration?
No.
Okay, so that's why I'm just wondering if we could table this a little bit. Let me tell you where I'm going with this. Because if the value is not there, okay, if we don't have enough coverage, usually under regular homeowners insurance, there's what's called, and I'm not an insurance agent, but I'm just throwing it out there, guaranteed replacement cost. Okay?
Again, you can look at the page 3 out of 8. I would recommend that you look at that one, which shows what your coverage
Okay,
is.
guys, one second, Councilman, one person at a time, please. She's speaking, let her finish, then you can speak. Thank you. Go ahead.
Again, so table 2, limits of coverage, that is the page that I would advise you to look at. If you have issues with those numbers, then yes, absolutely, we can revisit those items.
Council Chair, point of order here. You need to take yourself out of the real estate realm here. This is not homeowners insurance.
Right.
Okay, I understand it, but you keep referencing homeowners. It's not. It's not the same.
Okay.
Councilman, please.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not the same. This is something that all cities have been involved with for many, many, many years, longer than we've been around.
Right.
Okay. So, and if we table this, you want to leave the city uninsured? That's up to you.
First of all, I asked if it could be tabled. Second of all, the concern that Councilman Wenzel brought up is a good concern. If we don't have enough coverage based on the property value, that is concerning. So we are asking the questions. Can we table this until we get a little bit more information? If the insurance company has it potentially underinsured because they have the property value much less than what it really is, that's concerning to me. If we are insured, no matter what the value is, then I'm fine. That's why I'm asking our chief of staff who's dealing with this directly.
Council Chair?
Wait 1 second. Let her answer. And then you'll be
That
next.
wasn't a question. Can you repeat it? The question?
My main concern is, and Councilman Wenzel brought this up, if we have enough coverage based on the, arguably, I'll leave it, true value of some of these buildings. So the question is, do we have enough coverage based on the true value of these buildings? If we don't, what happens then? That's the question I'm asking.
From what I can see, you have enough value. Our lawyer has looked at it. We trust MMRMA. We've always been covered when we've had issues. If you want to revisit it again, you can absolutely do that. I just would recommend that you do approve the renewal and then revisit that topic. And we can also bring Tim McCleary, who's an expert on the field and has been working with MMRMA for many, many years, and he can explain how the coverage is enough for a city our size. Again, we're not the only city that they cover. They cover many, 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 many other cities in the state. So I'm pretty sure they are experts in the field.
I think, of course, to follow up what she's saying, you can up your coverage. If you do reappraisal and see that it's undervalued, you have a lot of options you can do, but you want to make sure, from our legal advice, is that you make sure we are covered. If we need more coverage, we can always revisit it at any point.
Okay. Wait, 1 second. Councilman Constable.
So remember, we asked it, so the operator of the ice arena said he can't make any money. We asked the lead sports, we picked the lead sports, they came in, they're a lessee. So they did the improvements, but we're talking about the Canfield Center and the ball fields, and then our lessors, what we own, the improvements were made by Elite. So that's the lessee's improvement. But that covers, our investment with the city owns. And MMRMA was formed, I think it was like in the 1990s, by companies for Florida, because all the cities, they couldn't get liability insurance at an affordable rate, and it was mainly because of high-speed chases and auto accidents and so forth. So Councilman Muscat put it after. This isn't like homeowners insurance. This is, and remember, we have Elite Sports, and they've done a lot of beautiful improvements to that property. But they're the lessee. Those are lessee
Well,
improvements.
leave them out of it, it's just complete for a whole city.
Yeah, but for what we own, that is what, it may be outdated, but that's what the estimate is. But if there's a loss, it's insured, they cover it.
Okay, Councilman Ahmad.
Yes, thank you, Council Chair. I do agree. I think we do need to renew this today. I do see your point too, and Councilman Winslow, that some of the values are off. So I'd say just let's renew today, and maybe if you can ask Chief of Staff to maybe look into this and see if maybe we can look at the values and maybe update it later.
Make sure we're covered.
Correct.
With the right amount.
Council Chair.
Okay, Councilman Bidun next.
Council Chair, I just want you to know on the backup, it has Canfield as 801 South, or 801 Beach Daily. I don't believe that's 1801 Beach Daily. I don't believe that's Elite Sports' address. So just make sure that when you're having that conversation with them, it seems like it's only insuring that one building.
I know it seems that way, and I already had that conversation, so they are gonna revisit it.
Okay. But you know, just for the record, everything.
Got his own insurance.
Come on, stop. Okay. Don't. That's really. This should be the last. No, I don't need no comments from the audience. This should be the last time.
No.
Thank you. Councilman Wenzel, go ahead.
Thank you, Council Chair. I was looking at this, it says the policy period is July 1st, 2023 to July 1st, 2024. Are we uninsured right now?
No, they're carrying it because I asked for it to be extended until now.
How long is the extension?
The sooner the better, right?
So
They're also moving to a new website provider, so they're moving everything to a new provider, so they're trying to speed up the process this year. If you recall, last year I did bring it up more towards mid-July, but this year they're doing technological improvements themselves, so they requested that we do it a little bit faster.
Why, I mean, if this policy ended July 1st, why were we doing this 2 months ago or something? I mean, we're doing it after the policy expired.
I can only present it when they present it to me, and that's when MMRMA provided it to us.
It's just like we have to do it now, you know, that's the way we're not supposed to be doing things that way. We have time to research everything.
You should know what MMRA is in the beginning.
Pardon me?
You should know what MMRA is from the beginning.
He is aware of what it is. He's asking questions. He has a right to. Okay, the other questions, Councilman. All right, hearing none.
I just want to add one thing. Again, so one of the benefits of MMRMA, and perhaps the reason why the city has never looked at other other insurance companies, is because since we were one of the original members, we get a lot of money back every single year. So if you really see our contribution for this year would be $1,521,521, but we're getting back $1,057,894. So really finding insurance for all of our properties for $500,000 is unspeakable in any new insurance company. So I just wanted to have that there.
Okay, thank you. So let's go ahead and put this to a vote. Motion by Councilman Muscat, seconded by Councilman Constant. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Ahmad.
Yes.
Moby Dun.
Yes.
Robert Constant.
Yes.
Ray Muscat.
Yes.
Tom Wenzel.
No.
Nancy Breyer.
Yes.
And Jim O'Donnell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is item 9B, Police Chief Hart, vehicle purchase request.
Council Chair.
Councilman.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the purchase and payment of 3 Chevrolet Tahoes from Berger Chevrolet Inc. using the current MIDeal bid pricing and authorize an additional cost to upfit the vehicles. In addition, authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign the necessary warrants and the treasurer to issue payment as follows. $71,804.55 from federal forfeiture capital outlay, GL account number 265-331-981-000, and $121,464 from capital outlay police department account number 101-300-981-000 as outlined in 9-B.
Second. Okay, motion made by Councilman Ahmad and seconded by Councilman Muscat. Any discussion on that?
Council Chair,
Councilman.
I have a quick statement. Not to do with this, but I want to thank our clerk's office for writing up these motions for all of us to read. They do a good job and makes it a lot easier on everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, that's it? Okay. Chief?
So it's gonna seem like I'm being greedy, but I'm gonna ask to amend the motion, please. Okay? Come on, guys. We're not dealing with officers being hurt in accidents, taking homicide suspects into custody. Our police officers doing a great job. Just stop. So as council knows, in my monthly update that I sent on Sunday, first of all, I had a misspelling in there of a staff member's name. I own that, so I apologize for that. But we found a vehicle, number 41, that had a rusted frame in it, and it represents a threat to our staff and to our community when our police officers are out there driving around. Early this morning, we had a vehicle pursuit in which one of our vehicles was most likely totaled through MMRMA, through the actions of a motorist out on the roadway. And Berger Chevrolet does have one more Tahoe for us. So I would ask, even though you read that motion so eloquently, that if you can amend to come out of forfeiture capital outlay, if we can make that number 112,292.55 and allow me to purchase another Tahoe for our fleet.
So that's from the first one, Chief?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
From the 71,000?
So please check my math, because I'm tired. So
we're taking the 71,000 to 112,292.55?
that is correct.
Is it the
Do you need that clerk? 112,292.55. Yes.
And Chief, this would be a vehicle similar to which one? Because there's multiple.
So these are all Tahoes. We're kind of diversifying the fleet a little bit. Get officers in a little bit bigger vehicle, sitting up a little higher. I'm a Ford guy. I like to explore. Chevy does an excellent job with the Tahoes. We happen to have a state deal here, a bid deal and my deal, where Berger Chevrolet has a few of these available. They brought one to the police department today for us to look at. It's a very nice vehicle. I think it's very safe. I reviewed the Michigan State Police. They're one of 2 police agencies in the country that do testing on vehicles. They do the testing at the Chelsea Proving Grounds. I believe the other agency is Los Angeles PD or Sheriff's Office. But we're within a couple miles per gallon on these vehicles, even though they're a little bit bigger. I think it'll provide a little bit more protection for our police officers. And our plan is to come up with a fleet plan. As I shared with council, we're going to hire a mechanic. He'll be in the building tomorrow, and then he'll start with us next week. And the idea is for us to shrink the fleet, but have a fleet that's in very good order and really respects the taxpayer dollars that go into the fleet. So that's kind of our plan. At this point, we'll put that in front of council so you're aware of what our fleet maintenance, preventative maintenance, and what our plan is.
Just a quick question for the chief, 1 second. How does this price compare to the Explorers that we were getting?
I honestly don't know the answer to that. I was going to prepare for that today, but I want to say there's probably about a $6,000 to $7,000 difference in there. Okay. What's important about these vehicles is these vehicles, as the new model year comes up, this is information through Director Vanderplow, who's been dealing with Berger. The new model year is going to go up significantly, several $1,000s, $6,000 to $8,000 from what I've been told. So they do have a select few vehicles. We all kind of know what the supply chain, because of COVID's been like. So I respectfully request council to amend that number. And through MMRMA, when someone hits our vehicles and they're at fault for that, we are starting to seek reimbursement for the upfitting of that vehicle. So we want to make sure that we're getting as many tax dollars back as we possibly can through our insurance company.
Okay, Councilman.
You and I spoke earlier, Council, Chief Hart. I seen the pictures of that vehicle, and the one thing that stood out very prominent to me was relatively new struts on that vehicle. And I just can't believe wherever we've getting these cars repaired at, missed something so significant as a frame rupture. I mean, this was not something that was just a crack because somebody ran over a curb or something. This was a major problem that was happening over a period of time with rust and things. Are we looking at who repairs these vehicles? Because as I look at it, the manufacturer is always the best place to send a vehicle for repair.
Sure.
They know their vehicles better than anybody else. And for major repairs, I think that they should go back to the dealerships.
Yeah, and our idea is if we keep a newer fleet, but we shrink it down, then we'll have those vehicles that are under warranty. So it reduces us having to take the vehicle in as much as possible for service, and if it is, hopefully it'll be captured under warranty. This vehicle, Car 41, I believe, was a 2014 Charger, and it had around 60,000 miles on it, so it just doesn't make sense that they do sit a little lower to the ground. So in the wintertime, it does pick up the salt. There could be so many different things, but our plan moving forward is we have a very well-qualified mechanic that's coming over from the DPW. He's been a fleet manager before, and we're going to start with inspecting all of our vehicles and then having a preventative maintenance program. Director Vanderplow has pictures on all sides of our squad cars taken on a monthly basis. So we've put these practices in place so we can kind of document the condition of our vehicle.
But my concern is, again, we've had these vehicles in for repair. I just don't know how something is being missed like that.
Yeah.
Because, once you send a vehicle in for, front brakes or rear brakes, there's got to be, most dealerships do a complete safety inspection of a vehicle. And that should have been, it's right there, right by the strut. How does that get missed?
Right.
So, I'd have to look at where that vehicle was repaired from and kind of ask myself, do I want to get it repaired there again?
Yeah, and very good points. And what we're going to do is we're going to invest in a barcode system, right? And we're going to invest in scanners. And our mechanic's going to be able to scan that, and we will be able to know the maintenance history of that vehicle, whether it was done outside facility or in.
And one other thing that comes to mind, we buy a lot of vehicles from outside of the metropolitan area there, like Burgers in Grand Rapids. Now, that doesn't mean we have to have service from them. We take them locally to like a GM dealership here, correct?
Absolutely.
Just like you normally would wherever.
Yeah. The idea is to get the best deal up front, and then
I think Burger. I think the question is what people are thinking about. Why is it Burger? I think it's because they're on the MI preferred list at the present time. We bought vehicles previously in Lansing and other cities when it comes up on the MI deal. Am I correct in saying that?
That is correct.
Okay. So let's go ahead and take this to a vote.
I have to amend it first before. Chief, so the main reason we're getting Chevys is safety. That's
it's enhancing the fleet, right? It's diversifying the fleet. We're getting them a little bit more off the ground. So we do have some flooding issues within the city from time to time. So we want to kind of.
Come on. I'm sorry. Okay, those in the audience, leave. This will be the last time. And at this point, I'm going to start having people leave. So unless you want to be disrespected, please respect whoever's up at the podium. Whether you agree or disagree, please respect. Thank you, Chief. Go ahead.
So we wanted to offer some alternatives to the fleet as well. And our mechanic, when we met with him last week, he was in support of diversifying the fleet. So we plan on buying, different size tires, have them ready to go. We have flat tires from time to time. We're going to have somebody in-house to replace them. And then as we decommission vehicles, we'll have a plan in there and a checklist for that. For example, yesterday, Director Vanderplow found a loaded shotgun in the back of a decommissioned Crown Victoria in a Wellington lot. So we can't have that. There's also a radio and other police equipment that was in there. So we have to have a plan, and we have to follow that plan and the checklist when these vehicles are taken out of service.
Okay.
Council Chair, I'm sorry. Chief, thank you. I know we added the price for the vehicle, but you didn't add the upfitting price too. Do we need to add that too?
No, because we're going to actually try to seek reimbursement for the vehicle that was damaged overnight.
Okay.
Yeah. If for some reason we have to pay for that upfitting, then I will come back to council.
Just before I do the amendment too, did you check, do we have enough money in the capital?
So this will come out of the federal forfeiture. Yeah,
It should be.
Yeah, we're gonna use the bad guys' money.
Okay, Councilman Watson?
Thank you. Chief, you know, it's no secret that we're short officers. Are these vehicles all going to be used? Do we have police patrol cars sitting in the lot not being used?
The only reason they wouldn't be used is if they're in disrepair. Yeah.
And okay, thank you. My second question is, would insurance cover the one vehicle that was totaled in the accident and all the costs?
Yeah, so we will be submitting for reimbursement of the vehicle that was damaged overnight. So whatever monies we get back, it would just be less money that we take out of that forfeiture fund. So let's say we get $30,000 or $35,000 for the vehicle that was damaged. Then that's just less money that we would take out of the forfeiture fund. I just didn't want, at this point, I wanted to put it in front of you. If you approve it, we can spend it, we can get that fourth Tahoe, and we can be ahead of the game. So I'll spend less money if we get for whatever value we get.
We have a motion on the table.
You all set, Councilman Watson?
Yes, thank you.
Chief, are you all set? Okay, so let's go ahead and put this to a vote, so I understand. The motion could be amended, the amount where it says, and the treasurer to issue payment as follows, I believe it's $112,292.55, is that correct? Correct. Do you agree with that amendment? I'm sorry?
Is it for 4 vehicles?
Four vehicles.
Four vehicles.
So we need to change two things, 3 to 4 and the number.
Okay, is that enough? You want me to reread it?
Can you reread it or? So I can amend my motion to make it 4 vehicles instead of 3, and increase the amount from the capital outlay GL 265,331,981,000 from 71,804.55 to 112,292.55.
Okay, so motion amended by Councilman Ahmad, and who's seconding that?
Second.
Seconded.
I second.
The initial second was by Councilman Muscat.
I
Second
second,
that again?
yes.
Okay, so seconded by Councilman Muscat. Any other discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried.
Our
Next
police
item-
officers, thank you. Thank you
Oh,
very
thank you,
much.
Chief. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 9C, CEDD, Director Jamal, weight trim contractual rate schedule for fiscal year 2023, 2024.
Council Chair,
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the wage trim contractual services rate schedule for fiscal year 2023 through 2024 as outlined in 9C.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Constant and seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Any discussion on that?
Council Chair.
Councilman?
I called Director Hassan Jamal on this, and I questioned about going out for bid to other companies other than Wade Trim. He has assured me that they're the best available for this. And I don't know if anybody here wants to hear from the director, because I was very concerned why we keep using the same company over and over again. Now, not to take my word, if anybody wants to hear from him, Hassan Jamal, if he's on, I don't know if everybody takes my word for it.
We take your word, Councilman, we take your word.
I had the same thing on here, out for bids, question mark.
So, I spoke with him at length, and you know it gets at length. And I told him I would call upon him if needed. So, obviously, the council body is taking my word that Mr. Jamal is on this hard, like he always is. I don't know if anybody can do a better job than him, to be honest with you. So, that's my thing on it, and I wanted to bring that up.
Thank you. Okay. Any other discussion items on this? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 9D, Comptroller King Budget Amendment.
Council Chair.
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the budget amendment for IT services in the amount of $500,000 for the following projects: update network switches and Wi-Fi access points for all for all 4 city buildings. I don't understand.
It's just a typo for all city buildings.
Yes. Unified card access system for city buildings and security cameras for city buildings as outlined in 9D.
Support.
Second. Motion made by Councilman Muscat, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion on that?
Council Chair,
Councilman?
shouldn't this be done at the end of approving these projects instead of approving the money before the projects are approved?
But we're allocating monies for this. I'll go ahead and have the Comptroller and Director of IT answer the questions.
Okay.
So your first question is why we're requesting this before we request the warrant to get the work done? Well, that's because they're,
It makes sense, yeah, you have to hold it.
okay,
So we turn down all 4 of them.
then the work won't get done.
Yeah, okay, where's the money coming from? The $500,000?
The money is coming from the fund balance.
Fund
This
balance?
should have been part of our budget. Unfortunately, I had mentioned this, and I had sent you an email, that we did talk about this during budget negotiations, but I didn't have all the paperwork in front of me, so we had waited to do a budget amendment because we were still out for bid. Now we have all the bids out, we've got all the information that we need, and we will have to do a budget amendment for the $500,000, and it will come out of the fund balance.
Okay, well, you know, it's $500,000, and I vaguely remember you bringing it up, but, I mean, you were, or whoever's doing the budget was a big fan of placeholders, and it was never put into a placeholder. I don't know, all these things, I guess they were important, you know, I'm not a high-tech guy, but they seem to be.
They're extremely important.
And the cameras.
Yes.
The access cards.
Yes.
I mean, my issue, well, I'll talk about it when we come to it, but my issue is we had no bids on any of these projects. Not one bid in their backups.
There were bids.
There's just one quote.
There was a company selected.
It was the company that was selected.
And there was no bids, it wasn't put out for bids? Was it put out on BidNet?
For most of these projects, because of the security nature of them, I went and solicited the bids and talking with other municipalities around us about who are some of the local experts.
Yeah, that's not the way, you know, we normally do things. We don't have something of this magnitude, this expensive, go out for bids and getting different prices on it instead of just asking somebody from a different city who they use. You know, I don't know.
I do have 3 quotes, but again, I'll say in the backup I included the winner of the quote.
You do have 3 quotes for each one of these?
I have them in the backup. I did not include the 3 quotes. I only included the winner of the 3 quotes.
Okay, well, I'd like to see the 3 quotes. You know, I mean, that's, you know, they're for $160,000, $130,000, $160,000, you know. Obviously, this total means $500,000, because we're asking for a $500,000 budget amendment.
Now, I want to say too, that is a high value note on that. If you look at all the numbers that are in there, 2 of the buildings are actually going to be funded by federal funds that I am actually working with Mr. Jamal on, because it's federal money that has some different regulations that we need to meet with that. Also, the libraries are going to be funding for some of their buildings on that, so it's actually low. And we are awaiting a couple grants from MMRMA on this. No matter what, though, we have to front the money because all the grants for this kind of work is reimbursement. And a lot of the grants don't cover some of this work, unfortunately, because they deem it as necessary work that the city should have taken care of themselves. The grants that we received.
I'm just not comfortable with this. I think we need all this stuff. I mean, like I said, I'm not an IT guy, but you know, we have talked to we need network switches. I have no idea what a network switch is for Wi-Fi, you know, and you know, installation of card access system. And I've never had a problem with my card, but I guess I'm supposed people are having trouble, and the cameras, new cameras or more cameras all over. And I'd like to see, you know, you say we're not going to use all that money, so why not break it down a little bit better?
On the quotes, I do have the spreadsheets for each of the motions I have that do help her break that down. per building. And I did try to highlight the libraries, because again, as this was getting created, we knew that the libraries, again, would be, I won't say front the money, paying their portion of the monies on there.
Well, if that's the case, then it should have been put in there. The library's paying this much, but all we need is this much. It's gonna cost a total of $131,000, but the library's gonna pay $60,000, and we're gonna pay, whatever.
Okay.
And then you're asking for $500,000 to be taken and put aside, and once we don't use all that, we don't really stay on top of this, where's that rest of that money gonna go?
Oh, we do stay on top of
No, I mean
that.
us here.
Well, I would definitely inform you on that, and once the library does pay their share, it will go back into the fund balance. This is something that needs to be done, and it needs to be done now. So I can't tell you how much the library is gonna reimburse us for, or how much the grants are going to be, until they actually come in. So this is something that was discussed during budgets, and I did put it on the back burner. No, I did not put a placeholder in there, but I did put it on the back burner because I didn't have all the information that was needed at that time. So right now I am requesting a budget amendment for $500,000.
So Councilman, just
we see the other bids?
So just quick, and I do see your concerns, but let's just address this. I did speak with our IT director, David Cooper, had a conversation with him in regards to this, and without getting into some of the details, because some things cannot be shared publicly, because it's sensitive, it's security sensitive, so I will not get into that particular part of the conversation. But as you know, our city's been way behind when it comes to technology. I'm talking about like way behind. And if you go into any of the other cities, anything technology-wise, and I'm not an IT expert either, we are way behind. And that's why we hired our own IT director to come up with a plan to bring us up to par. And we are considered the city of the future. So if that's the case, we're not even in the now right now based on our current technology.
We're still on horseback.
Yeah, we're still way backwards. So as far as the need, I do believe the need is there. As far as the specifics, I'm not an IT director, and obviously neither are you. So we gotta leave it to the experts in that field to come up with something, and this is what he's come up with. And so I think you bring us up to par. I think this, in my opinion, this is a good idea.
Councilor Chair,
But maybe, if you don't mind, Councilman, 1 second. Director, I know some things we talked, you said it's sensitive, so you can't discuss them, I respect that. Can you just at least abbreviated, just tag of our conversation?
Sure. I can tell you that our network switches, that's the backbone of our network. That's allows the communication amongst all of our buildings. As we are moving more to the cloud, more to the internet for everything that we're doing, we need to have that more reliable for this. We do have very aging equipment. I'll just say that. The Wi-Fi access points that as we're going through, again, we want to make ourselves more mobile friendly for ourselves. We want to make our staff where they're not going to another building and asking, what is the password? There's a uniform system. That's what I'm trying to put in place, where it's not every building doing their own thing, because that's what was done in the past, is we have a uniform system across the board. Also part of this Wi-Fi is this is looking as a small first step, and this is actually going to provide Wi-Fi out to the public. Also, because there are federal and state grants, if we haven't heard, for in the billions of dollars to be able to provide those monies. Again, that would be for stuff that I'm looking at to do outside of our buildings, to broadcast around our buildings and our community, even our parks. But we've got to get this set in place first. The card access system, again, every building has done their own thing and has got their own systems in place. I actually literally have my keys I need to carry to go from building to building, where now a card access system, one card, we're going to get them around to all the buildings. Talking with Chief Brogan, the fire chief, imagine now we have an unfortunate emergency in one of our buildings. Each fire truck or emergency vehicle could have a card access, and that card could get them into a building much faster, trying to fumble around for what they potentially need. Also, when it comes to the card access, we lose a key, it's out there. Okay, we don't know where it's at. Unfortunately, we found that. Okay, card access. Well, let's say we have a disgruntled employee that needs to be removed. Okay, or again, card access. Click a button, we get to shut down that card for this. It
tells you who access every building, what kind of.
Correct, and it does. We're way behind when it comes to that. To say that we've got to have this many keys to do the work across the city. The security cameras. A building like this that has security cameras,
we're not looking at replacing all these cameras. We're just molding this into a system where, again, we're not replacing these, putting them into a different system. We do have some buildings that don't have any cameras at all. We are looking at putting some in there. Again, working with Mr. Jamal and the federal funds at our 2 senior centers, putting in cameras in there so we can help protect ourselves and help protect those seniors, because cameras are a known deterrent for things around. You might not have heard of instances around our buildings, but they are happening. We're at Ray, again, the senior centers around the buildings that will help with us deter potential issues and help resolve any situations, because video doesn't lie. We're not looking at putting cameras in, everywhere into the rooms. We're looking at covering our exits, basically, where there's potential instances.
Council Chair, okay. Finish up the second couple things. Who's looking into these grants you're speaking of?
Okay, wait, Mr. Holden, that's the last time, please. Mr. Holden, 1 second. Holden, please no comment.
Who's pursuing these grants that we're referring to?
I have to seek out what's out there and what we have. Mariana's helped me look at, find some through the company that we have that has gone through. I had, again, another meeting with MMRMA about the grants that they offer.
What about our agreement with Wade Trim to look into these grants? Have you got together with them on this?
Again, a lot we have. Again, a lot of them, unfortunately, are like for our network switches. That's on us. Grants really don't kind of cover that. It's the security and other grants I'm looking at down the road, the second phase of this, that are going to help the general public with this. Even though this is going to help the public, the bigger grants I'm looking at will be coming.
Well, I think you're overtaxing yourself. I mean, you're doing the grant writing and taking the bids and everything. I mean, I think we should have someone take care of that for you, so you can, grant writing is not in your job specification, I think, when you're hired. But I just have one more comment. Thank you for answering that question. And to all due respect to yourself and Council Chair, you said that we were way behind on technology. And just a reminder to everyone, we're way behind on salaries for our employees too. Thank you.
And we're in negotiation.
Councilman Bidu. Council Chair, and Mr. Cooper, thank you, because you really are bringing us forward. But you have to remember something. We have a fiscal duty here. Yep. And that's to protect the city of Dearborn Heights. So when you guys, when you're going out and you're making these bids, and then the other 3 bids, we don't know who they are, everything needs to be brought in front of city council.
I apologize.
It's okay, it's okay. And I know that's not your intention, but I mean, he brings it up, and so, now all we ask is moving forward, anytime we have those bids, bring it in front of us.
Can I say one thing really quick? Some of it is actually my deal pricing for that, or actually beat my deal pricing. I did put that in some of the motions in there. So a lot of the equipment either meets or beats my deal pricing of physical equipment.
Look, you're the professional. I mean, like you said, we still have to do our duties at the end of the day to show that. If I can go back, sleep at night knowing, you know what, this is great. We voted on this. There's 3 other bids. Mr. Cooper may have chosen the most expensive, may have chosen the median, or the lowest bidder. But that way that discussion can happen between all of us. Thank you.
I just want to make a quick comment. Earlier tonight, Miriam Fawaz, I know you were still on Zoom. You had your hand raised, and we talked to different people, and I believe I missed you. So, if you still have a comment, I don't know if it's on an agenda item. If not, of course, during the public comments, I will allow you to speak. So I apologize. I just recognize right now the face that I missed you. So I apologize for that. If you still have a comment and it's on an agenda item, raise your hand, and I will allow you to speak. Because I missed you. Thank you. Okay, anything else on this particular item? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Madam Clerk?
I'm voting no because I don't see any, I didn't see the other bids before I voted on something like this.
Robert Katzen.
Yes.
Dave Abdallah.
Yes.
Hassan Abad.
Yes.
Ray Muscat.
Yes.
Moby Jim.
Yes.
Nancy Ray.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-1.
Okay, motion carried. Next item on the agenda. So,
Thank you.
for those in the audience that are not, just to give you guys a little bit of a clearance, the initial amount, which is 9D, this is the one where we're doing a budget amendment. Now we're going into the meats and bones of it, the specifics of it, that the IT director is bringing forward. So this will be like kind of a breakdown of the total of the $500,000. So Item 9E, IT Director Cooper, agreement for the purchase and installation of network switches and Wi-Fi access points.
I'm not reading that.
Council Chair,
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the agreement between the city and BAE Networks for the purchase and installation of 36 updated network switches and Wi-Fi access points in various city buildings for a cost of $161,752.64 plus 10% for possible overages as the pricing beats the current MI deal bid, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city. In addition, provided the mayor also authorizes any such payment as this expense, the city council authorizes warrants to be issued for the payment of these services. By doing so, the city council is authorizing any such warrants and payment without prior authorization by the city council of the specific warrant and payment as permitted by and consistent with city charter section 8.9 as outlined in 9-E.
Second. Okay, motion made by Councilman Ahmad and seconded by Councilman Muscat. Any discussion?
Council Chair.
Councilman?
Mr. Cooper, do you mind just, sending us the other two bits?
I've got no problem.
Just for that April.
Yep.
Thank you.
I will say this is one that the my deal pricing
No, I know
is
you're
on
not here
there.
today, but I
Yep.
mean, just to have it in.
Yep, not a problem.
Okay. So for those in the audience that are not familiar with my deal, that's basically something that's negotiated at the state level, and it's the same price throughout the state for, I'm sorry? Oh, yeah, please don't talk in the audience, please. Okay, so we get the same pricing across the state of Michigan. It's usually something that's much better than anybody else they can negotiate.
Correct.
Okay, so any other discussion items on this?
Council Chair, I'm just really quickly, I'm gonna go on the next four items because I need to see other bids. I mean, you need to listen to my deal. I need to see other bids of how good of a deal we're getting, or like Councilman Baydun said, are we paying the highest of the bids, medium, or lowest? So I can't do my job as a city councilman representing the taxpayers' dollars and bid on something that I don't know what the other bids are. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So item 9E, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Madam Clerk?
Dave Abdallah.
Yes.
Jamal Bajun.
Yes.
Robert Constant.
Yes.
Tom Wenzel.
No.
Ray Muscat.
Yes.
Nancy Meyer.
Yes.
And Councilman Ahmad.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 9F, IT Director Cooper, agreement for the purchase and installation of a unified card access system.
Council Chair.
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the agreement between the city and BAE Networks for the purchase and installation of a unified card access system in various city buildings for a cost of $116,758.36 plus 20%, $23,351.68 for possible overages, as this pricing beats the current MI deal bid, and authorize mayor and clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city. In addition, provided the mayor also authorizes any such payment as a necessary expense, the city council authorizes warrants to be issued for payment of these services. By doing so, the city council is authorizing any such warrants and payments without prior authorization by the city council of a specific warrant and payment as permitted by and consistent with City Charter Section 8.9 as outlined in 9F.
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Councilman Constant and seconded by Councilwoman Nancy Breyer. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, Madam Clerk, you know
Nancy Meyer.
Yes.
Councilman Ahmad.
Yes.
Dave Abdallah.
Yes.
Jamal Bajun.
Yes.
Tom Wenzel.
No.
Robert Constant.
Yes.
And Ray Muscat.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-1.
Okay, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is item 9H, IT Director Cooper, agreement with the...
9G.
9G, I'm sorry.
Can you combine them?
9G, IT Director Cooper, agreement for purchase and installation of an IP-based security camera system.
Council Chair.
Councilman?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the agreement between the city and BAE Networks for the purchase and installation of IP-based security camera systems in various city buildings for a cost of $131,455.25 plus 20% for possible overages. As this price beats the current MI deal bid and authorizes the mayor and clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city. In addition, provide the mayor also authorize any such payments as necessary expense. The city council authorized warrants to be issued for the payments of these services. By doing so, the city council is authorizing any such warrants and payments without prior authorization by city council of the specific warrant and payment as permitted and consent with city charter section 8.9 as outlined in 9G.
Support. Okay, motion made by Councilman Muscat, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion on this?
Council Chair,
Councilman?
when I was looking over this, I know that there's a 20% of $26,291.05 for a potential increase.
It's sometimes when you go into walls and you go into the ceilings, there's unexpected, issues.
We're also paying $131,000 for cameras. That's a lot of money. So we could potentially be paying $153,000.
Again, that's extremely high end. I'm not expecting anything crazy like that. But I don't want any delays where I would potentially have to come back to money because, hey, we found something in the building that's not that.
Look, I get it. I know our buildings are very, very old, but again, $131,455 is a lot of money for cameras across the building, across our city buildings.
Again, if you look at those numbers, take some of that down, take about $25,000 down because the library is covering that. That actually includes the libraries. Now that it's actually down, with that.
Can we at least amend it about the 20%? And if you need to, you can come back to us.
I've got no problem with that.
Thank you. If you'd like to
So
amend the
the
motion.
motion may have to be amended by Councilman.
If that's okay with everybody.
Right, but let's see if there's any other discussion items first. Any other discussion items on this? All right, Councilman, he's asking for the amendment.
I sure will. Thank you, Councilman Baydun. I'd like to make the amendment to remove the 20% of $26,291.05 for possible overages. If needed, IT director will come back and submit another budget amendment for it, as outlined in 9G.
Support. Okay, motion amended by Councilman Muscat. It was originally supported by Councilman Constant. You still support it? Support. Okay. So seconded by Councilman Constant for the amendment. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. All right, Madam Clerk.
Robert Constant.
Yes.
Ray Muscat.
Yes.
Constant Rep.
Yes.
Jamal Dillon.
Yes.
Tom Renzo.
No.
Nancy Breyer.
Yes.
And Daniel Bella.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-1.
Okay. Next item on our agenda is item 9H, IT Director Cooper, agreement for fiber internet access.
Council Chair,
Councilwoman, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that this Dearborn Heights City Council approve the agreement between the city and Contract Business for dedicated fiber internet access to all city buildings for a service term of 36 months, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city. In addition, provided the mayor also authorizes any such payment as necessary expense, the city council authorizes warrants to be issued for the payment of these services. By doing so, the city council is authorizing any such warrants and payments without prior authorization by the city council of the specific warrant and payment as permitted by and consistent with City Charter Section 8.9 as outlined in 9H.
Second. Okay, motion made by Councilwoman Dwyer and seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion on that?
Council Chair. Once again, there's no other bids. I know that Verizon's been in the city of Dearborn Heights setting up new fiber optic cable lines and some other. I'd like to see what the comparisons are between Comcast and Verizon and the other ones that were looked into. And I just can't believe that the city council is approving these without knowing the reasons why he recommended these companies, the council not knowing what the other numbers were. I feel that the councils that are approving these aren't doing their job for the residents of Dearborn Heights.
Councilman, point of order, please. Go ahead.
Councilman, I'm just going to respond to that. I want you to know when it comes to tech, 9 out of 10 times you're going to be in the same ballpark for the same pricing, whether it's Verizon, Comcast, unless I mean, AT&T, I think we had this discussion in my group chat today, horrendous, terrible. We would go Comcast all day. But in the ballpark, you're off by, give or take.
I beg to differ, my cable bills, I just switched cables and it was like 40% different.
I can
So
also
they're not all the same.
But you can't compare the two. One's residential, you're talking optic fiber.
That's what they're using for. They're using it for residential and commercial buildings. It's one system.
Okay, that's the right answer.
I'd actually like to answer that because, yes, I'll say this is the lowest priced one because if we did go out and get a whole bunch of different quotes from all the different providers, while AT&T, 1, 2, 3, NAT, everybody's trying to get into the city to be able to run their fiber. I also want to understand that this is dedicated internet fiber. This is not the fiber that you can actually get yourself at your residence. This is part of this with this 3-year agreement also is they are going to be running all brand new fiber from their main connections to our buildings for us. A prime example is your internet that you're getting to your home. If everyone around you in your neighborhood all got an internet, your bandwidth actually would decrease. The dedicated internet fiber that we'll be installing, we're not affected. When we had our ice storm not too long ago, the traditional Comcast internet at that building, it took 2 days for that to return. The state of Michigan that has their own fiber connection into that building, they were returned like that. So this does help also build reliability into our buildings so we can better serve the community.
Well, I did a little research on this, and Verizon is offering dedicated fiber optic to residential homes.
There's still a difference between what the government gets and what the residents gets. There is a difference.
And it'd be that's what I'm talking about. It'd be nice to see these things in front of us.
You're right. You're absolutely right on that. You're spot on.
Okay. Any other comments on this? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay.
Tom Wenzel.
No.
Dave Abdullah.
Yes.
Ray Muskie.
Yes.
Leslie Ahmad.
Yes.
Robert Constant.
Yes.
Nancy Pryor.
Yes.
And Mark Reed.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-1.
Motion carried.
I want to say thank you very much. This and what you've done in the past for the servers, this is going to be a game changer for how the city can help serve the community.
Council Chair, I just wanted to state that, I'm not against these programs at all, and it sounds like we need them. I'm taking his word for it, he's a professional on that. I'm just looking at our financial responsibility to the residents to look into these matters.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Next item on our agenda is new business license renewal. Council Chair, Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the renewal of the business license for Cooper's Garage at 21244 Van Born as outlined in 13-8.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Ahmad and seconded, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion on that?
Council Chair, I'm going to give a discussion on seconded support. I don't think there's an action. I know, but I mean, even support, you're showing support, so either you're seconded or support.
Seconded is appropriate. We did a study session.
I'll try to remember to say
What's her name? Is it Coco?
Yeah, Coco. Our parliamentarian.
Anyway, next. Let's go ahead. So motion made by Councilman Ahmad and then seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, motion carried. Next item on our agenda is comments from council members.
Council Chair.
Councilman?
A number of weeks ago, we had a study session on blight, and I really haven't seen or heard any more from that study session. Now, this is something that I'm going to say the majority of the residents approve fighting blight. I've been trying to do this from this seat for 8 years and a few years before that. And I know there's been some changes, but we're not receiving any information on what's being done. Now, I have seen ordinance department going around. They've actually been on my block, checking my block out for whatever reason. I don't see much going on there, but they're going around, but I haven't received anything. And I just wish we could get updates the council people can get updates so we can tell people what's going on and how we're going about it. We also talked about looking at the tree ordinance, which we're not talking about. This tree ordinance has to be looked at again to help the residents, especially with these crazy sycamore trees. I'm going to demand a study session on this ASAP to get this thing fixed once and for all. Okay?
I'll support that one.
I was thinking along the lines of all the ordinances that we've gone through, and one was I wrote years ago about city vehicles being marked. I'd like to know from the administration, do they know of any vehicles that are not marked according to my ordinance that was written and approved by city council? I know there was police vehicles that were exempt from this, as obviously we need to do that for security purposes, but I'd like to hear from the administration if there's any vehicles that are known that are not marked, and will they be marked in a timely fashion?
All vehicles are marked, including mine.
Microphone?
Yours has been marked.
I'm sorry, microphone? I couldn't hear the mayor. I couldn't hear you, the microphone wasn't on.
All vehicles are marked, including
Okay,
the
thank you.
mayor's.
Okay, again, I go back to the blight issue. Please, 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 let's get something going from that study session. It seems to me that the study session just was a waste of time and a lot of talk. And as you go around and you see homes in the neighborhoods, the one thing that we forget as ordinance and for people is I see a lot of elderly people walking and younger people. They walk, and grass in the cracks of the sidewalk is a tripping hazard. I see some of these sidewalks that are no longer the width, they're only 1.5 feet wide, and the grass is they're thick, and it's a tripping hazard. And I'm not, the liability to the city and to the homeowners, but come on, people are going to get hurt. We don't want people getting hurt. So let's do what we got to do, and please, Council Chair, let's get this study session on these trees on the agenda or on the books ASAP, so we can go through this and have the proper personnel here that we can speak with. Because when I wanted the blight study session, there were people that weren't here that should have been here. I think our judicial department should have been here to advise us and help us through this. And one more critical thing. I mentioned months ago when we had the tragic accident of a young lad being killed and coming home from a school function late at night. I feel that we should immediately put up signs, and I don't know how we do it, we'll have to get Corporation Council involved in this, of double and triple the fines of any moving vehicle violation immediately. And no more cutting deals because I got a good record and I didn't see the stop sign. If it's in a school area, and let's make a boundary of every school, I don't care if we make it 4 or 5 blocks around the school, that must be implemented immediately. Immediately. I mean, we've got, kids are out summer right now. Pretty soon school's going to start here, not too much sooner. It's not going to be very long. We need to protect the kids. And also the people who are picking up their kids need to be educated on how to park and how to load their kids in a car. You don't load them from the street side of the car, you load them from the sidewalk side of the car, okay? And just because it's easier for you to get in your car if you load them, that's beyond me. But we need to get that Corporation Council, please, immediately. This is not a request, this is more or less a demand. And Chief of Police, this is a demand for the entire city. So.
Okay, any other council members with comments?
Council Chair? Thank you, sir. Councilman Muscat, I'm sorry, about the blight situation, I think it's my fault, I failed to update you. I did have a quick meeting with the Borough Council, and we're waiting a couple, feedback from directors regarding the campaign we discussed before. So the next meeting, of course, everybody was going to be in it. Second, my heartfelt prayers goes to the injured officer. I hope for a speedy recovery, and I do thank him for his service. Two officers? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, for both officers, I hope they for a speedy recovery. Third, July is the Disability Month. I hope we can embrace each person with disability as part of who they are, stop the shame, stop the reject, and we can lift each other as a community. Thank you, Council Chair.
Council Chair.
Councilman has just shared. We've looked at fulfilling a campaign on blight with Director Cooper, who has a computer program that's tracking all the tickets, all the situations that citizens can call in and report it. And we've incorporated some of the money that you've allocated for media, both safety and blight purposes. We're updating you, we're working on that. We met 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, and so we are following through with that. We'll update you.
With the blight, I'd like to be included on that.
Absolutely.
Because, there's meetings being held and I'm not in it, and I'm thinking nothing's happening, and it just,
Why can't you have a study session?
We just got started, but we are.
And I understand that, but it would be nice if I got heads up on it, and I speak many times with Chief Hart, and we stay in contact about all the tickets and everything, and the process that we're going through to help relieve all the speeding, and just wish that we could do more, but at this point in time, we're trying to do the best that we can, and I want to thank the chief for all the hard work and trying to transform our city into a next generation of a great police department. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
I would add also that we are tracking all our cases and we're integrating it with the CompStat and the police. So we can track the results of tickets being issued and how they result in the court for the first time, holding ourselves accountable, making sure we're receptive to the citizens.
Council Chair.
Councilman Review?
Thank you, and I'll keep it brief, Council Chair. As Councilman Ahmad said, July is Autism Awareness Month, and I know I had this conversation with our corporation counsel. We actually met up. He said that the administration is in the process of reinstating our disability commission, and so we're hoping that that's something we can get up and running by July. This would be offering to a large mass of our community. I know we've asked our director of Kim Lawrencell about showing that some of our parks have more swings for our autistic children, people with wheelchair, and just being more accessible for more people in the community, including our seniors. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just a quick comment for some of the residents. I know some residents have reached out in regards to stop signs having advertisements put on them. So I did speak with the director. They are aware of the situation. They are looking into it. And for those, whether it's city residents or outside residents, pulling your advertisements on stop signs. I mean, do you really need to read an ordinance to know you can't do that? I mean, really? So they are going to be taken down, and those people that are doing that, it's a specific company. We have their phone numbers. They probably will more likely be ticketed. But I mean, really, before you do advertising like that, I mean, just common sense. They had a sign. I seen a picture of it, this big, right under the stop sign, advertising their power washing. So anybody that's hearing this, don't use that company. Just a little update. I had a conversation today, and I'd like to get an update from our administration. Probably about 2 years back, and honestly, disappointedly, we still don't have nothing. I happened to go into the DPW warehousing, or whatever they call all their trucks and what have you. And one of the things that was disappointing to me is I noticed that a lot of our DPW employees having their break right next to the equipment, the trucks, the tires, etc., etc. And I'd asked at the time that our administration look into some sort of a break room, for the DPW workers. And I brought this up a multitude of times during budget sessions. So this thing on the radar, because I'm going to ramp this up. Dirt, garbage, etc. That's just not fair, not okay in my book. So anybody would like to give us any type of an update on this?
I'll check with Mr. Conrad. He's here. We asked him to.
Director Conrad, are you on there? If not, for administration, please put this on your radar. I would like to see some sort of an update at the next council meeting, please. Thank you. I'm sorry? Is he on there? Okay, Director Conrad, please go ahead.
Am I muted?
Yep, there you are.
Okay. We do have money in our TIFA, in the budget this year from TIFA. So it is in our plan to finish we kind of started, we've cleaned up an area. We just need to get a contractor in to complete the build out of the area that we've dedicated for a break room. So hopefully, this will take place this year. We do have money allocated to us from TIFA to do this. So I'm extremely hopeful that we get this completed this year.
Okay, please keep this on your radar. Thank you, Director.
I'd also, Council Chair, Director, I'd love to call the break room the Dave Abdullah room.
No.
He's so excited right now.
I don't want to offend anybody. Councilman Reason is good for throwing me off. Okay, Councilman Wenzel, go ahead.
Thank you, Council Chair. First of all, it's good to see all these people that took time out of their day and night to come here to the meeting, exercise their constitutional rights for assembling and freedom of speech and all the rights that we have here in the United States. And God bless all of you for coming out and stating, giving your concerns to us. Which brings me to my next point. There's several people, a lot of people out there, hundreds probably, that aren't able to come to these meetings. And for the last month or so, the public access channel has not been broadcasting these meetings. And I don't know what it is, a loose cable again or something maybe, but we just approved $500,000 for all these high-tech things, and we can't broadcast our meetings on public access. And if I'm correct, I think we pay money to have public access channel, and we're not getting the full use out of it. So I think that should be, before we do any cameras or access cards, let's fix this public access thing so so our residents can watch these meetings instead of having to go to YouTube. A lot of them don't have computers. So let's fix that. Is there anything in the works, or what's the update on that?
I can give you just a general update, and maybe administration can give you more specific. But I tell you, I asked our media department in regards to this without naming the specific person, and when I was told this was a Comcast issue, I fully agree with you 1,000%, Councilman, that yes, these should be on there, and our residents should have access in many formats, not just YouTube. I totally agree. So any meeting, as I've said before, that was not aired should still be aired, period. That part, you're not going to get negotiated. So at the time, I was told by the media person, without putting a name out there, this was a Comcast issue. I said, have you looked into it? She said she's made a lot of calls and has not been able to get an answer. I gave her at that particular point a contact person that I know at Comcast that's pretty high up there, and I said, this person should hopefully be able to help you. If not him, he can connect you with somebody, and that's at our last meeting. Unfortunately, the person's not here right now, and Mariana's helping instead, so I don't have the answer unless the mayor has an answer different than mine.
So we're still waiting on a response.
Let's not pay the bill then this month or the next couple of months.
That's also WOW and AT&T. There's people with AT&T that haven't had it in a year and a half. I haven't had it with WOW. I switched from WOW, and now I'm still having it. So it's all three are having an issue for some reason. And I think we need to, maybe even if we get the IT director to look into something here, to see if there's a problem on our end, along with maybe Mr. Agrap, who is very familiar with how that system works. Because I believe it's a little bit more complicated than what we think it is. And I didn't want to steal the councilman's bunch, but he rang the bell here, and you get so many things to talk about, you get carried away on what you really want to talk about. But thank you, Councilman.
Is there something else, Councilman?
Yeah. I was waiting for someone to say it was a Comcast issue, because I've had complaints from citizens in all the major cable companies that are experiencing this problem. It's not a Comcast issue.
Well, all I can do, Councilman, just relay what I'm told. I am not an expert in that.
That's fine. That's fine. I just want to say that, that it is not a Comcast issue. And secondly, they talk about the tree ordinance. Ordinance where you can cut down a tree on public. Trees are very valuable. One mature tree, you cut down us and everyone throughout the whole world. But every tree you cut down affects the whole world. And one thing I always talk about is our family. I like to take family pictures and then take a picture. Get over here, and then all the pictures are not smiling or all angry. But I've got pictures, and you got to take advantage of that while you can. Don't take your family for granted. You have the opportunity to do stuff together, even if you're tired, come home from work, your kid wants to play ball with you, or they want to go for a walk. Do it, because you might not have that opportunity to do that. Again, something bad might happen, and you won't have the opportunity. So treasure your family time together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I see that Miriam Fawaz is still on there. Again, I'll repeat again. I missed calling on you earlier, and again, because I'm a believer in free speech, I still want to give you the opportunity to have your say. You still, I don't know if you can hear me. Hope you can. Okay. You will have an opportunity, and if you are going to comment during the public comments, I have no problem extending your minutes because I missed you, and I apologize. Any other council members? Well, we'll get the announcements in a second. Any other comments from council members?
Sure, I know I had my turn, but there was one other thing that slipped my mind. Through this construction of the CSO project along Cherry Hill, Beach Daily, Gully, I've noticed that whatever this contractor is using for seed, he better replace it, because all he's planting is cabbage. Anybody go out there and see that there's weeds that are growing out of that stuff? It's nothing but weeds. Whatever happened to sodding? Please go look at this. Mr. Conrad, go look at it. Mr. Deeb, go look at it. It's horrible. It's nothing but pure weeds. And I can guarantee you one thing, they dug up my front lawn, they'd be putting sod down, because that's what they take up. And that's horrible. I want someone to look at this.
I know I spoke real quick, but I just want to give a comment. So my sister happens to live on Beach Daily, and I think all the residents just received a notification that they will not have access to their home or on Beach Daily for 18 days.
What?
No.
Why can't they do it half the time?
Well, that was going to be my thing. That was going to be my question. Every day I get a message getting yelled at by them. Like and I get it. My sister Valentine, my nephews who are here screaming, yelling at me like I'm the contractor. I'm not the contractor, Todd. But I get your guys' frustration, and I share that with you guys. And so maybe we can have a conversation with Wade Trim to let them know, pave one side and leave one side open. But closing it out for 18 days, I get it. I understand time is of the essence, and maybe with time and concrete, I don't know what's going on.
I did have a conversation with them, and they are talking. I didn't know about the 18 day thing, but they are.
So the letter was just sent out today. I'm going to tell you, think of our seniors. Think of the pregnant woman. Think of the person who has 2 children who's holding them and has to park down the street and walk them up and down.
Yeah, just your groceries.
Some food for thought.
Just your groceries.
Thank you. So, Mr. Deep, if you are online, if you could do us a favor, yes, you are. If you could speak to Wade Trim and address these issues, if you don't mind, and maybe give some sort of an update to the residents, if you can, I'd appreciate it. Okay. Next, we're going to go ahead and go to announcements. Any announcements from administration? Do you have a comment? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Councilman.
Okay, I have 2. The Ecorse Creek will have their meeting on July 26th at 6 p.m. This month, and a very important meeting with the South Dearborn Heights Civic Association will be on Thursday, the 27th at 6:30 to 8:30. We're starting early. We will be interviewing like a meet and greet with all 9 candidates running for city council. So if you want to meet these people before you finalize your vote, please come and see them then. And the address is 3335 South Beach Daily.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman. Any other announcements from the administration?
Hello, Council Chair and Mayor. Just want to talk about a couple of items. First off, attention all shoppers, Wednesday, July 19th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. at John F. Kennedy Jr. Library. We will be featuring a program on the rise of suburban shopping from Northland to Somerset. As the population moved from Detroit to the suburbs, retail establishments moved as well. How and why did they get built? Join John Milan and Gail Offen as they share pictures, ads, and fun facts. Also this week, we are delivering activity boxes, so hundreds of activity boxes are going to homes, so be on the lookout if you order them. Finally, I'm happy to announce that starting Labor Day, due to popular demand, JFK Library will be open 12 more hours, opening at 10 a.m. every Monday through Saturday. This hours total should put us past pre-COVID hours at 112 hours per week and close to 5,800 hours a year open to the public. That's all for now. Thanks for your time and see you at the library.
Thank you. He's always a hard act to find. Okay, Linsania City Clerk, and I am here today to discuss the fact that the clerk's office is currently facilitating the primary election that is scheduled for Tuesday, August 8th. I just got a couple reminders. The bulk mailing for the absentee ballots went out on June 29th. To date, we have issued 3,823 ballots, and we have 1,046 ballots have been returned so far, about 27%, which is not too bad for 2 weeks. So we do have our drop boxes, DFK, we have 2 here that are available 24/7. And then I just want to let you know that the AV applications will be continued to be receipted and ballots will be mailed on a daily basis. We have 9 candidates running, and we have to narrow that down to 6 candidates for the November election. So when it comes to voting, the voters can vote for up to 3. You can vote for 1, 2, or 3. But no more than 3 because your ballot will be rejected, okay? This is a reminder for the candidates, okay? In regard to signs, because we've gotten sign complaints, okay? So I'm going to read what was sent to the candidates. Each candidate got a signed ordinance when they picked up their packet, and I also sent an email out when the bulk mailing went out just to remind them that signs shall be so placed or installed so as not to obstruct the vision or view of any bicycle or driver of any motor vehicle upon the streets and alleyways of the city. No sign, place card, sticker, or banner shall be placed on public property or on any public right-of-way or street easement. Telephone, electric, streetlight, or traffic control poles or related equipment, public tree, or authorized signs of the state or political subdivision of the state, or on vacant property without the consent of the owner of the vacant property. Okay, I go through my neighborhood and there's at least 3 or 4 that are on the easement. They need to be removed. That takes away from ordinance. Then they can't handle blood. Okay, so it's important for the candidates to drive through the neighborhood and pull out their signs and move them to the residents. You know, they're part of it. Okay, one more thing. Now that the absentee ballots, so that the candidates know this too, because it's up to them to tell their campaign staff that now that the absentee ballots are available here in City Hall, this is considered a polling location, and state laws are in effect, as if it were election day. Specifically, I'm not going to go into all of it because y'all got the information, but the important part is inside the clerk's offices, at which voters may receive, complete, and return absentee voter ballots directly in. You cannot make reference to an election, a candidate, or a ballot question. It's all prohibited. In front of City Hall, there's a line marking, which is 100 feet out. You can do it on that side, but not within that. So if you have a t-shirt on that has your candidate's name, you're going to have to turn it around. If you have a baseball cap, turn it inside out. We don't want to see anything. Okay. Okay. Not the important, everything's important, but 3 sites that I would like to refer you to. Okay. League of Women Voter. You can go, if you want to go online, there's vote411.org. You can go to michigan.gov/vote, and they will give you, they can tell you, you can look up your own, if you requested an absentee ballot, you can follow it when you got the application back. If you were issued a ballot, they'll tell you when you issued it, and if you received it again.
And out front, outside of our office, there's a voter's cap from League of Women Voters. So you can welcome to grab one on the way out. And one quick thing, to piggyback on Councilman Muscat's thing about school safety, that's how I got involved, and the reason I'm up here now is because about 25 years ago, a friend of mine's son was hit by a car on Beach Daily where it was 40 miles an hour. Me and several friends kept coming to council meetings, kept coming to school board meetings. We got that reduced to a 20, had a beacon light put up, had the speed limit during school hours, and we worked with Wayne County too, because that light at Kennedy and Beach was not, it would only work an hour in the morning, an hour at night. Now it works 12 hours a day. Anyway, but as part of that, enforcement is important. I want to tell you that I don't think one ticket is, well, I could probably one ticket. Very little tickets have been, and who knows what happens when they went to court. So that's an important part. But you guys, make sure you don't give up. Just keep fighting, fight, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
David Cooper, Director of Technology for the city. I wanted to make an announcement that our new website, first phase of it, is up and live at www.dearbornheightsmi.gov. The old website will actually be coming down tomorrow when I put that in. It takes about 24 hours for it to kind of transcend out to all the browsers. All the content from the old site has been put onto the new website. I know Mariana just put it up on there. She can actually, one of the big parts of this is going to be the agendas and minutes on there. There's going to be a information track going out through social media and whatnot about how residents can sign up for their notifications, all on there. We've got numerous staff members working on all the different online forms that are coming with this. Also, part of this is going to be to actually help fight the blight. It's going to be the C-Click Fix, where not only is it going to be on the website they can report, but they can also use an app on their phone. We're working on just finalizing that with our Apple developer account to get that out for everybody. But I wanted to make an announcement that this is up and running. And again, if a resident or anybody goes to the old website, it'll actually, starting tomorrow, auto redirect them to this new website.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. And Director, I love this new technology and fancy stuff. Looks great. I know it's not you, but can you give me a commitment? I hate to put you on the spot. That you work with our media department to get this Comcast thing, the old school watching it on TV.
I've actually got a quote coming in already for. We believe that with the fiber line from Comcast was broken, and fiber lines, because it's glass, it's not something you can just kind of unplug and plug back in. It's not how it works. So I don't have the tools to clean it and everything. So we've got a company coming to give me a quote what that's going to cost.
Whatever needs to be done, because there's still a lot of people who like to watch on TV.
We're trying to, and everything I'll say with AT&T, we're finding is actually something down in Texas, how our signal goes and everything to them, and it's like pulling teeth getting information.
Okay, thank you, Director. Appreciate it. Any other announcements from administration?
Good evening, Lisa Hicks Clayton, Treasurer for City of Dearborn Heights. Just a reminder that tax bills for summer 2023 were mailed out July 1st. They appear on this yellow paper, so you should have those in your home. If you do not, please contact the Treasurer's Office for assistance at 313-791-3410. Also on the website, you're going to find ways to pay. So we want to let our residents know there are several ways, including the online web-based payment, DivDat app on your phone, kiosks throughout the community, mail by United States Postal Service. We have two drop boxes, one in the parking lot, one on the building, as well as in person Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So the due date for your taxes would be August 15th without penalty. Starting August 16th, there is a 0.5% late fee that's added in, and that increases 0.5% every month. So up to 3% per state law. The one thing I do want to talk to, and we've had a lot of calls and we appreciate our calls, is a lot of residents are still struggling. And if that's the case, we offer several support services
to our residents, including the MyHat funds are still available. We would encourage residents, we actually help you navigate through that application process. And also tax deferment is available, where your taxes can be deferred until February of 2024. That's a Form 471. So again, we are available to help connect the dots and navigate through the application process so people can get help that need it. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Anyone else with announcements? Now we'll open it up to the public for general comments. You will have 3 minutes. Well, here you go. Here's our council chairs back. So, name, street, city. Just give me 1 second so I can keep everything
Do the
up if you
time.
don't need.
Don't let me talk too long, Ray.
What's that?
Before you start, Ms. Kaminsky, I just want to make just a quick announcement. I already made that announcement earlier during agenda items, and I'll make it during the public comments. The police department has been instructed that I'm going to do everything I can to control the audience. If someone in the audience continues to get boisterous and just gets out of line at that particular point, I'm going to ask for a recess, and I'm not referencing you, Sue, by the way.
I know.
I'm going to ask for a recess. At that point, my hands will be off, the police department takes over, and at that point, I have nothing to do with it. So, please, everyone, speak respectfully, speak your mind, but speak respectfully, and then keep it down, please. Thank you. Please, Ms. Kaminsky.
Sue Kaminsky and Boyd, Dearborn Heights. A few things. Regarding MMRMA, so a few of the quotes were named at different buildings. Berwyn, $10 million. I know for a fact St. Mel's is 13.5 acres, and it was 1.8 million. I have a really hard time believing some of the appraisals that were given on the insurance, and I have a hard time believing if Berwyn is 10 million, that all of the Canfield properties combined and buildings are 2.5. I really think that it's easy to rubber stamp and do something the way it's always been done, and the way it's always been done is not always right. So someone needs to look at that. They need to have those numbers fixed and looked at to make sure that each of the residents and the tenants of the city have adequate insurance. The other thing is the fire department. I am very grateful to our state senator and rep for getting those funds, but I have a question. I know that we all know, well, a lot of us do, that when that building was built for the fire department, they had to put special clay in to do the reinforcement of the sand because they knew there was a problem. Why haven't we sued the builder? Why haven't we sued the builder? Why are we having to get $10 million of allocated funds? We have an insurance company that I just heard a huge sum that we're paying for. Why aren't we suing the builder? We still have a bond we're paying for that building. Why aren't we suing the builder?
Well, let's allow her to finish, then we will have your questions answered.
All right, and then the two things that I think are the biggest problems in the city, and I'll keep saying it until something gets done, Ecorse Creek and the flooding. And I think the people in here didn't laugh out of disrespect, they laughed out of frustration. I've been coming here since 1977. There is no freaking excuse. None. Every one of the city council administration in this term and in all previous terms going back to when they first had complaints should be ashamed of themselves. And I respect you, and many of you are my friends, and it's not personal. It's a fact that these people live in fear of rainstorms like the threat of today. And when it's not raining, they're thinking about when it's going to rain. And I lived it, and I had a flood, and I understand it, and unless any of you have had a flood, you don't get it. Shame on you. And the number two thing is the lack of police. And I'll keep saying it, $40,000 for a new officer is a joke. Thank you.
Well said. Thank
Okay.
But I'm gonna have your question answered. So in regards to the lawsuit, I've brought it up, and I know other council members have brought it up, but I'll give our corporation counsel the opportunity to answer that much better than we can.
Yeah, I think we are going into exploring the options of how to sue and what actions to take. I will discuss it later, but it is obviously being brought up again.
Okay. I will say, just from what I think I had a conversation with Mr. Deeb, as far as being able to sue the person that, the builder, I think they may have, closed down their LLC. They weren't able to get a hold of them anymore. They weren't able to track them down. I think it was built in 2003. We're in 2023. It was 20 years ago. Granted, the building is only 20 years old.
But it's been failing for years.
But yeah, so from what I had that conversation with Mr. Deeb a while back when, was we weren't able to get in contact, or we weren't able to find the builder because it was subcontracted from Wade Trim. This builder, that builder was no longer subcontracted out from another builder. It was just a runaround. But that was the reason that when I asked about it. Okay.
Yeah, former Corp Counsel Kurt Heisey knows a lot more about this than I do, but as part of tort reform in 2008, the builders got passed, or the insurance companies got passed a statute of repose, which says that it's not statute of limitations, that after so many years, even if you didn't know about the claim or didn't discover it, you can't come forward, you can't sue. And that was in the legislature in 2010, and I remember some of us on judiciary voted against it, but basically the insurance companies wanted it, so after a certain amount of time, no matter what, you can't bring a claim. And so there was a change in the law that prevents us from because so much time had passed from doing it.
Okay, thank you. Street, city, the name, please.
Name Hassan Basri, Sheehan, Dearborn Heights. Mr. Council Chair, you will be missed.
Oh, thank you.
Sincerely. I mean, thank you for how you're running the show, and I want to thank the council members as well, And I want to point something about Mr. Winsor when he says no. Thank you. At least you asked the right questions. It doesn't matter if it's passes, whatever it's been put on the agenda or not. So this is very helpful. Thank you very much. I want to put the politic issue on the side a little bit here. I know there's a lot of promotions, a lot of stuff going on in the city. And it takes a real leadership to lead, especially this city. Unfortunately, the way it's going, it's not healthy. And this is a country of love. So I ask everybody to speak up their mind without any fear, because, and I want to thank the police department for what they do, even though we are very short on police officers. I mean, we see how they try to keep the safety and stuff in the city. I want to start a little bit by Mr. David Cooper, the IT guy, when he finished his presentation, game change to help the city. I'm going to ask you, the 7 council members, to take one day out of your time and pick like different area in the city and go drive around. Go see how the city start to look like. This is unreal. I've been in the city for 22 years. I said it before. I forced a couple of my kids to stay in the city. I mean, this is our home. This is not acceptable. It's nothing against any of you, including the Mr. Mayor or you or the administration. It's about the services. We deserve better. I mean, during the garbage days sometimes, it's ridiculous. People, when they put their garbage on the street, if we see the sweepers, go around like a zigzag. See the people, they come and cut the grass. I mean, what's going on in this city here? The safety is a very big concern here. I ask you, please take one day, go around, go see how the roads look like. We need, instead of getting those carts to open the doors here and spend all this money, allocate this money to the honest department. Learn, be firm on certain things here, and really go after these people to obey the law. Enough is enough. I mean, we come here, we complain, we've been coming here for a long time. I see a lot of new faces. I want to thank them for at least coming here, and hopefully they will express their opinion about what's going on. Let's put the politics on the side. Our president of the city should be respectful. I mean, we should really look into the services. This is very important. And I hope that you take, not just like, come, okay, please take a day, drive around, CD Median, I live on Sheehan, look on Wilson. This is the space. Look at the garbage of the streets. Enough is enough. And you brought a good point about the signs. I took some pictures the other day, giving the candidates good luck to them. I mean, one sign per house is good enough then 100 signs on each property. This is ridiculous. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I do want to make a quick comment in regards to Mr. Bazzi, Vince here, and many, many others. I just want to tell you, I, for one, appreciate all you guys and your activism in the city. So, thank you. This is very, very important, and a lot of you guys have made a major, major difference in the city. So, thank you. Vince, go ahead.
Vince Karkowski, Columbia Street, or Columbia Highway.
Dearborn Heights.
Dearborn Heights, Plain County. Never been to Michigan. Anyway.
You make me lose track, Vince, okay? You're making me lose track, okay?
That's good. Because now I want to be able to say hello to on this IT stuff coming up, Mr. Cooper, what happened to the Oakland County Trump plan? Is there something in that something similar to that? If so, was that a consideration? And then also, I know in one of your buildings that you're going to be updating high security area, but there's also 3 different departments out of that building. TIFA, the court, and the PD. When it comes to paying for this bill, after Comcast or your contract comes up, can all 3 of those departments absorb the cost, or some of the cost, instead of it coming all out of general funds?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, and then
Yeah, keep going with whatever questions that will be answered at the end when you're done.
And then also with the chief, I know you're looking into getting some new vehicles, and rotating our vehicles is great. However, I would like to see you have at least 3 or 4 vehicles on backup in the lot, ready to go, not just having a minimal rotating stock supply. If that's feasible. And the fire department on Beach Daily. Remember years ago when I was working at the TIFA department, or not TIFA, but the Community Economic Development, I believe that was written and funded with block grant monies. You would have to get a hold of Mr. Oliverio or maybe John Zadikian, may recall back then, but if there's any monies that we could possibly get for a warranty or anything like that, if that's feasible. So just something I want to throw out there for you. Thank you for your time, and look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you. So, if you don't mind, give your name and number to Georgia, and she's got it, and then if any director would like to, they're more than welcome to call you back unless they'd like to comment at this point.
Council Chair, could you have a question?
Okay.
What was the first, I'm sorry, Council Chair. What was the first one about Oakland, something said Oakland, the first part you spoke about?
Oakland County had what Mr. Cooper could probably explain better was the T1 trunk line for communicating with internet. Is that still in existence, or is that something that's obsolete?
T1 has been phased out and making sure getting moved for a while.
Okay, but what did Oakland County do? Because we were getting supplied through Oakland County for our cable and communications throughout the buildings and throughout the police department.
That's hardwired. None of my records show that I've got from Dearborn when I started the job, so I'm not sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Technology's changed quite a bit.
Well, I know the technology's changed quite a bit, but we're getting supply through Oakland County.
Thank you.
Okay. That's my question is if Oakland County could help supply us the way they used to. So I don't know if there was something there in the makings yet, or if it's just better off to go this way.
Thank you, Vince.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the audience that would like to make a public comment?
We Contractual point, Merrick Street, Dearborn Heights. First, I would like to thank the mayor for repeating what he said into the microphone so that those who are hard of hearing are able to hear. Because, as Councilman Ahmad mentioned, it is Disability Awareness Month. And there's a lot of invisible disabilities too, like being hard of hearing, or autism, like Councilman Beydoun brought up, ADHD, something I have, ankylosing spondylitis, which is an arthritis of the spine that I have. You don't always see these disabilities. So thank you for bringing that up. I really appreciate that as one of the disabled members of the community. And I really appreciate that. A couple things. The city-owned properties, you guys approved that expense for $158,000. In the budget, the amount budgeted for that was only $75,000, so I would expect to see a budget amendment in the next meeting or two on that one, because you did kind of double that budget tonight by approving that. The bill from the lawyers that was from November, it was submitted to the mayor's office in December. I don't know why there was a delay, but we did have a lot of talk about that sort of delay in bills getting sent to the Comptroller's office and the Treasurer's office over the last couple months. So I think it might be appropriate for you guys to maybe review those processes and procedures and make sure there's no bills sitting on a desk somewhere that need to be brought to you guys. Mariana mentioned in the insurance discussion that we've always been covered when we've submitted claims to MMRMA. So I was wondering, you guys have spoken frequently about the stolen items at the golf course, the vandalized things. Have we submitted insurance claims for those and been reimbursed for that so that taxpayers aren't having to spend quite so much on the golf course? I'm trying to read all my notes. In terms of the bidding stuff, I think it's really great that you guys are pushing to get the bids process more accessible to everybody. I would love to see you guys work on developing checklists, forms, procedures, something for your internal directors that you guys have input on and what you need to see to make a good decision. So that you know that they got this many bids, that they evaluated this, that they had an interview with everybody. Whatever you guys feel like you need to know to make that good decision, I would hope that you would make sure that that's part of the procedure. Because you're the ones that have that fiscal responsibility. And as far as the cable stuff, I would hope you guys talk to the FTC, because there is very much, cable companies want to profit. They don't want to help the public, and we have the right to have our public access channels. So I would appreciate if you guys could even get the FTC to get involved on getting them to get that fixed, because they are supposed to be responsible for it. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else in the audience? Come on up, then.
Kim Spurgis, Amboy Street. I just have one quick question. When we were talking about 8B, which was the buildings, the forfeitures, and you guys stated that they have to sell it to somebody to actually live it and not rent out. How do we know that that is
previous contracts?
Correct. Well, how do we know? What's the backup? How is that? How do we find that out? How do you guys know, as the government know? What do you guys do to make sure that it's not being just rented out?
Okay, so let's wait until she's done with the question. Then we'll answer.
That's the only question I have.
So I can answer that for you in general. When a property is purchased by anyone, the law is, and the ordinance is, if they have a renter in there, they have to register that renter and apply for a certificate of occupancy allowing that renter to be there. So, if that property that the city has taken over is sold to an investor, John Doe purchases that property and is supposed to sell it, not rent it out. So if they have a renter in there, and then without registering that renter, they're obviously breaking the law, and at that point they're breaking the contract, and obviously then it goes from there.
But my question, okay, so my question is, but you're selling it to a second party, right? But is the law that they have to be the ones that live there, or can they then turn around and rent it out?
They can sell it, or they can move in there themselves, but they cannot rent it out.
So that house that's being sold has to be sold to somebody that's calling it an owner occupied. As an owner occupied
Okay.
property, as a primary residence. Right. So when they come to the assessor's office, we are aware that they're gonna be filing their paperwork as a primary residence.
Okay, I just wanna make sure,
Now,
cause
down the
that
line,
wasn't
if some-
really,
if that
or
was-
is there a certain amount of time
There was language in there, but I don't remember word for word what it
as
was.
to how long they have to hang on to it?
In previous contracts, there was language in there, and I remember I asked questions, other council members asked questions to make sure that there's no, for lack of better words, funny business.
Right.
So I remember that being discussed, but again, this is, I think, a year plus back. I think it was it, more 2 years? Yeah, it's been a while. So, but we did address a lot of those potential, if you want to call them loopholes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Council Chair, I'm not sure.
And needless to say, if one of those investors goes and pulls one of those funny business stuff, if you want to call it, obviously they also lose the opportunity to be able to bid on a property the next time out because we will know that they didn't follow the rules.
Council Chair, I'm not sure if the city implemented like these restrictions before. I don't know if we can do it now.
We did talk about it at the time about the restrictions, and there was in the contract very specific language as far as what they can do with it.
They are included, the ones we've sold, we include the language that you just stated.
There was also a controversy in Westland, where Mayor and Taylor, where the feds got involved with this and the mayor got in trouble.
Right.
So it's very, everything's all I's dotted, T's
Not an
crossed.
available option in the city.
So if an investor buys the property, they have to sell it on the market.
Okay.
Do I get 3 minutes per concern?
Yes, you do.
Not per concern, per person.
So I gotta rattle them off real quick.
Wait,
She did it, so it's 3 minutes per, she wants it 3 minutes per concern. That's what
no. I apologize. ma'am.
Okay, all right, picture this, Van Born and Telegraph.
Okay, and I'm sorry, name, city, street,
Oh, I'm
please.
sorry, Deborah Colby, like the cheese, on Cornell, in the Heights. Okay, Van Born and Telegraph. I'm going southbound, which means I'm going towards Taylor, right? And after they sodded everything,
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop for a second. In the audience, please, no talking, thank you.
right, this is one concern where there's a turnaround, you can picture it, you're gonna turn around right where Walgreens are, you're gonna make your U going the other way on Telegraph. After that, there's a left turn lane, two-turn on Van Born. They need to redo those stripes, because that's a horrible corner. There's a lot of accidents there. So that would get somebody, if it's a Wayne County road, then have them fix it. They need to paint the lines on there so people aren't going in the left turn lane way back here. They're going where they're supposed to. That's one concern. Okay, picture Walgreens. You've got the little bench in front of Walgreens store and garbage can. I didn't say anything about it until it tipped over. It's almost on its side. And blight is a disease that's going to take a city down. Okay, I call Walgreens. Whose responsibility is to empty that garbage can? Oh, that's the city. I call the city, the ordinance department, try to get around that. I don't know so then I call the clerk's office. The clerk sends me over to the city hall, the mayor's office. Then his little secretary goes, oh, well, we'll connect you with DPW. So DPW gets on it. Okay, well, look at it. As of today, that garbage can was not emptied. I'm about ready to go in with the garbage can myself, put it on Walgreens right in front of their door, going, no, this is your responsibility. It's your corner. That to
Which
me.
Walgreens, man?
Pardon me?
Which one?
One on Van Born and Telegraph.
Okay, in the Heights. All right.
Yes. Okay, my other concern, the street sweepers. All right, I looked at DPW today, and I see where they've done it in June. They've only been down my street once that I can recall. All right, and then how they're supposed to do it, when your garbage is picked up, they're supposed to come down there. That's one of the reasons, along with the garbage men being able to empty your garbage. My concern is they should be swept more than once a month, especially around the rainy seasons and in the flood zones. That's part of the reason why our streets flood, because of the crap that's by the sewer that can't release. Every week, they should be out there every week, especially when you got helicopters, grass clippings, leaves, whenever, especially the rainy seasons. That's another of my concerns.
Okay, right at Hanover and Greenlee Park, where if you remember, they took the houses down there because of the flood zone. It still floods there, but Hanover and Greenlee Park, the street sweepers need to get that corner. You've got a no littering sign. There's no garbage can there. Put a garbage can there. Whose responsibility is it to empty them? I don't know. Who empties the one that's over by the basketball courts? Whoever does that needs to empty the garbage cans. They need one there. Okay. What else? There's the trimming of the tree. Some of the signs are blocked by the trees growing, so whoever, they need to,
Okay, so ma'am, give your name and number to Georgianne, and if someone from administration is interested, they will contact you to follow up on something.
Thank you.
But you know, with Telegraph and Dearborn, the turnaround, and a left-hand turn, that's been a sore subject for 20-some years. And then they redid it again, and that doesn't fall under the city, and that's US 24. So I believe the government contracts that out to the state, and the state gives it to Wayne County.
Well, it still starts here.
Well,
make some calls.
We have, and we have, trust me, I have, and it's just like when we try to get a street light, a regular old street light on Ford Road. It took me 7 years and countless emails from Councilman Bayou to finally get a stupid left-hand turn light. So 7 years of that, so it's tough.
All right, next person up, come on up, city, street name, please.
Margaret King, Mayfair Street, Dearborn Heights. I don't know if any of you guys are aware, this past week, a child was hit on the north side. Don't know the circumstances. This is ridiculous. When you walk in the front door, I picked up these a couple weeks ago. These are safety flyers that are sitting right at our front doors on a table. You know, be safe, be seen information. We get these twice a year. Why can't these be sent out with these? Here's a solution. Keep our children safe, for the love of God. My next thing. I've been preaching and talking and coming up here for many months because of Joey. Done a lot of research. I've had friends of mine help me out. Michigan, MDOT, traffic laws. A school zone is 1,000 feet surrounding the school. 1,000 feet. No school signs. Nothing, again. Preaching to the choir, I know. But, that regarding, I totally agree with Councilman Ray Muscat about the doubling of school zones. It's 1,000. We only could. If we could get those done as well. And have we had any more meetings about the safety regarding the school zones or regarding anything? Is there an update? Because if there is a safety meeting, I would love to attend. That's all I have for today. And then, you know, once again, if these are at the front door, mail them out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tony Kim, Midway, Dearborn Heights. Start out with our two city council people that deserve an apology, not just from me, but many others, many other residents. Tom Wenzel and Nancy, my apologies for you both taking the heat on issues and concerns that are being brought up at the Warren Valley Banquet Center. Right now, that's pretty much all I'm going to say about this issue, but I do know that they have been correct and they have been accurate, everything you have said. And I can say that because since August 16, 2022, I have demoed that whole entire building myself with my two hands. And I know the good and the bad in that building.
Liar.
Okay?
Wait, hold on.
Show all your text messages about Nancy.
Right now, stop. One second. Mr. Asa, please. Please.
To address that issue behind me, I was fired by him because I am not a yes man.
1 second. Everybody has an opportunity to speak. Now, please, this is the last time. Once I take a recess, then the police department does their thing. He's allowed to speak. Now, on your end, Tony, please keep it respectful.
He is respectful. He is respectful. He's just talking.
He was talking.
You okay? Finish, sir.
Like I said,
Okay.
like
I'm
I
gonna take your
said,
recess. The police department's gonna take over.
I'm with him, bro.
Chief, take over. We got a break. Got a break.
Respect each other. Come here. Sam, come here.
And that's the guy you want representing the voters.
Yeah.
Been saying it since last year.
Smart, smart. What is
Jealousy, shut up. Shut up.
Okay.
Guys, hold on. Okay? Please, let's do our very best to respect each other. Alright?
Say nobody talking to them three ladies right there, but you guys all coming over here talking to us. They've been since the whole thing, they're laughing, coughing, doing all kinds of stuff. Nobody tells them nothing. It's alright. But you guys want to come at us and us coming at you. Hold up, sit down. These three people right here, keep their mouth, they haven't shut their mouth.
I believe that Mr. Abdallah, the chair, has addressed
He addressed it more than one time, and they keep doing it. Everything comes towards us. The cops come here. These are the three people that come to make it. When Mr. Boss got up there, he's the first person that started laughing and coughing to make it look like there was someone who
it's over. So no one's being treated any different. Okay? So let's all be as patient as we can with each other.
I think you just need this meeting.
No.
End the meeting.
No, I don't think so.
No.
If people are willing to stay calm, then fine, but just chill. But they need to sit down and chill. Take a breath.
Hey, sorry.
Let's do a motion to adjourn.
No, Mo, free speech. Free speech.
That's not my role. I just ask that everybody please take a deep breath, okay? Nothing here that's happening today and that's being said is worth getting physical over, okay? It's just not. It's all, get a little thick skin, let's keep moving forward. Sir, if you're comfortable with calling the meeting back to order.
I don't get scared, I'm comfortable. Talk about the guy that's halfway out of the room.
By the door. You're by
They're so easy to get over there.
They gotta put a cover on it, like the schools do.
Yeah.
All right. Now,
Someone needs to remind
Again,
Lisa that if it doesn't make some sense.
everybody has a right to freedom of speech, but please keep it respectful. Thank you. So we'll go ahead and start the meeting.
Actually, I forgot where I left
2 minutes
off.
left.
but-
Do you remember?
Really quick, again, Nancy, Tom, you deserve an apology. Again, my deepest apologies for you taking the heat on bringing up these issues. Again, right now, that's all I'm going to say about this, but it will be forefront and center soon. This is about a safety issue and public safety, nothing else. Not about a restaurant, a cigar lounge, a hookah lounge, or anything else but public safety. My major concerns, along with public safety, is our men and women of our Dearborn Heights Fire Department. If something was to happen in that building, a fire, this or that, some of the things that stand right now, they could be injured or possibly killed if a ceiling or something falls down, which has been overlooked. And I am not going to walk away from it. I've never walked away from issues. I've always stood my ground, and I am not backing down from this issue. Okay, I have turned all of this over to OSHA. I'm going as far as I can take this, and that's it. I've got photos that speak for itself. That's my proof. Like I said, I have been in that building. Technically, I've been there since July 11th of 2022. Some of the trees that were cut down, yes, I cut them down. Okay, there was big hoopla about that. 3 of those trees were very hazardous. They were coming out of the ground and leaning eastward by Warren Avenue, almost 1.5 feet out of the ground, which was covered by 10, 12 other trees, which were covered in poison ivy, which I was covered from head to toe, cutting them down and getting rid of them. Okay, trees, yes, I did trim, but that is a second issue. From August 16, 2022, till May 25th, till I was fired for not being a yes man and looking the other way on a lot of these issues, which they will not go away. I have demoed that building by myself again, and I'm not saying it for praise, but these 2 hands demoed ceiling to floor, wall to wall, upstairs, second floor, downstairs, carpet, everything was taken down, put in a dumpster, and taken out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nancy, Tom, again, my deepest apologies. Good night, folks. Hopefully I didn't disturb anyone.
Let's go. 3 minutes are up. Get the fuck out of here.
He said,
Whoa! You guys want to listen to a liar and a lunatic? Is that what you guys like?
Free speech!
Is that what you guys like?
You just assaulted him.
All the liars against us? I'm trying to... Come on. I want to talk to you.
Meeting adjourned. They just adjourned the meeting. Keeping the camera going for a little bit, so we're not going anywhere yet on DDH 411. So just in case you want to keep an eye
I don't believe the lies. The city all believes his lies.
We've never even
That's what you're doing. We're talking about on Facebook, all black and talking. I know I'm tired of that, man. I'm sick of it. I'm spending my hard-earned money that freaking profit. I'm always getting this. I'm tired. I'm mentally drained. I'm mentally drained from this project, bro.
This is what you want representing your golf course?
Yeah, but you know what? All the lies have been told, Vince. And sometimes you just can't.
He's done it 3 times.
Speaking of Ray, settle down, Ray.
You're stirring the pot. Ray, please go ahead. You're the one that started the pot, sir. What's wrong with you, bro?
You get enough excitement?
Talk to him if you need it.
I'm just going to leave that one there.
Exit out that way. People can please exit out that way. Exit out that way. I'm not going to tell you guys everybody can out the other door.
All right, but someone had to close in when you were.
Come on.
I'm not getting the hard time. I told you I wanted to do some people there. No, I'm not fighting. It's all right, bro. Fuck this place.
The police chief wants to come in. Oh, yeah?
Okay.
All right. I think they've got this under control, or people are leaving. So.